The sages of old taught that you become what you think, that your thoughts shape the very fabric of your reality. But they left a deeper secret unspoken, a truth, not about becoming, but about remembering. What if the wealth you seek is not something you must build, but a vault you have forgotten you hold the key to? What if the kingdom of heaven is not a destination, but an inner territory you already own? We live our lives chasing a certain kind of currency, the kind that clinks in a pocket or rustles in a wallet. We trade our time, our health, our peace for it. We believe it is the primary mover of the world, the final arbiter of security and freedom. But all the while, a far more powerful currency flows through you, unnoticed. This is the silent, potent currency of your attention, the golden, flowing river of your energy, the diamond-hard asset of your stillness. This is the true capital of your existence, the prime determinant of your experience of life. Every single day, from the moment you awaken to the moment you fall into sleep, you are making transactions with this currency. You spend it on replaying yesterday's grievances. You invest it in anxieties about a tomorrow that may never arrive. You trade it for the fleeting distraction of a glowing screen or the approval of others. Each thought is a withdrawal. Each reaction is a purchase. Each moment of mindless scrolling is a squandering of your most sacred resource. So I ask you, who is managing this vast, invisible fortune inside of you? Is it a frantic debtor living in constant overdraft, terrified of the next demand? Is it a panicked speculator gambling your peace on the volatile market of external events? Or is it a wise, calm banker who understands the infinite nature of the source and directs the flow with quiet authority? This journey we are about to embark upon is not about adding more to your life. It is not about learning a new trick or a positive thinking hack. It is a great audit of the soul. It is about entering the quiet, marbled halls of your own inner bank, meeting the one who holds the ledger, and reclaiming your authority as its rightful master. It is a journey to stop being a mere customer of circumstance and to become the banker of your own being. The vault door is before you. The key has always been in your hand, warm from your own life force. All that is required is that you turn it and step inside. Let us begin. Before the first coin was ever minted, before the first bar of gold was ever smelted from the earth, there was a currency more ancient and more potent than any the world of men would ever devise. This currency is the very bedrock of your experience, the raw material from which your life is woven. It is the first gift you receive upon waking, and the last you relinquish as you drift into dream. This forgotten currency is your attention. It is the pure, unalloyed gold of consciousness. Imagine, just for a moment, that as you awaken from sleep, the universe does not grant you hours in a day, but instead places in your hands a small, heavy pouch. Inside this pouch is a finite number of golden coins. These are not ordinary coins. Each one is stamped with the sigil of this present moment, and each one is unimaginably precious. This pouch contains your entire fortune for the day. This is your attention. Now, observe how you spend it. The alarm rings, and you immediately spend a coin on the thought of how tired you are. You reach for your phone, and a cascade of coins is tossed into the chasm of other people's lives, their opinions, their manufactured dramas. You spend a handful on replaying an argument from last night, each coin clattering uselessly against the cold, unchangeable stone of the past. You spend another handful projecting yourself into a meeting later today, paying interest in anxiety for a debt that hasn't even been offered. By the time you have your first sip of coffee, a significant portion of your daily fortune may have already been squandered, spent on transactions that yield no return, no peace, no value. It has simply vanished, leaked away into the ether of unconsciousness. You must understand this fundamental law of your inner bank. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And where your energy flows, your life grows. Attention is the focused beam of sunlight that can ignite a fire. A scattered, diffused light warms nothing. Your attention is the sacred water that nourishes the seed of a thought into the towering tree of your reality. That which you consistently bathe in the light of your attention must, by cosmic law, grow. If you consistently place your attention on lack, you are watering the garden of scarcity. If you consistently place it on resentment, you are fertilizing the weeds of bitterness. Conversely, that which you withdraw your attention from must, by that same law, wither. It is not a moral law, it is a metaphysical one, as impersonal and as reliable as gravity. The world is designed to hijack this currency from you. It is a grand marketplace, screaming for your coins. Every billboard, every notification, every headline is a professional thief trained to steal your attention. They know its value better than you do. They know that to capture your attention is to capture your energy, and to capture your energy is to capture your compliance, your purchasing power, your very life force. To live in the modern world is to walk through a perpetual bazaar of psychic thieves, and to remain unconscious of your inner wealth is to arrive home at the end of each day with an empty pouch and a soul that feels strangely, inexplicably poor. This is the source of the burnout, the fragmentation, the feeling of being stretched thin and pulled in 1,000 directions. It is the hemorrhage of your vital currency. You do not lack energy. You are simply leaking it through 1,000 unexamined holes in your awareness. You do not lack time. You are simply failing to invest your attention in the only time that ever truly exists, the eternal now. The first act of a master banker is to become ruthlessly aware of where every single coin is going. It is to cultivate the art of conscious investment. To consciously invest your attention is to place it where you choose, for a purpose you have defined. It is to feel the sun on your skin, and to spend a golden coin of attention right there, in that warmth, reaping a dividend of pure sensation. It is to listen to another person, not while formulating your response, but with the full, undivided investment of your presence, creating a return of genuine connection. It is to focus on a single task, immersing yourself in the flow of it, and in doing so, to feel your own power, your own capacity, expanding. This is not effort. This is not strain. This is alignment. It is the difference between frantically scattering seeds in a hurricane and planting a single precious seed in fertile, prepared soil. This is the beginning of true power. The power is not in controlling the world outside, but in mastering the flow of currency within. You can begin this reclamation right now. At any moment, you can stop the outward flow. You can pause. And you can ask the most important question the inner banker can ever ask. Where is my attention right now? Feel it. Sense it as a tangible force. Is it lost in a memory? Is it racing towards the future? Is it hooked by a sound, a physical discomfort, a persistent worry? Do not judge it. Do not fight it. To fight it is to spend more coins on the battle. Simply see it. Acknowledge where the coin has been spent. And then, with a gentle but firm intention, you call it back. Feel it return to you. Feel your awareness, which was projected out into the world of concepts, flood back into the vessel of your body. Feel it settle in your hands, your feet, your breath. This is the act of reclaiming your gold. Each time you do this, you are sealing one of the leaks. You are telling the universe that you are the master of this fortune, not its servant. This is the foundational practice. Before any grand manifestation, before any profound spiritual insight, comes this simple, repeated act of recalling your attention to the present moment. This is your primary work. It is the training of the new manager of your inner bank. You are learning to guard the vault. You are learning the immense creative value of each golden coin. You are learning that you are far, far wealthier than you ever imagined. But to truly take control, a simple awareness of present spending is not enough. A wise banker must also review the entire history of the account. They must understand the deep underlying patterns of expenditure. Before we can build new wealth, we must first examine the existing ledger, the one written in the invisible ink of emotion and memory. We must have the courage to look at the old, standing orders that drain your account every single day, automatically, without your conscious consent. These are the phantom transactions, the emotional debts signed long ago in moments of pain or fear that continue to claim their payment from your present. To become truly sovereign, we must now turn our gaze from the currency itself and look into the account books of the heart. We must begin the great audit of your emotional debts. We have spoken of your attention as golden currency, the lifeblood of your reality. Now, we must do what every wise banker must do before any new investments can be made. We must open the great dusty ledgers of the past and conduct a full and fearless audit. For within the vault of your being, there are not only assets, but also debts. These are the emotional debts, the energetic liabilities that silently siphon your wealth each and every day. These are the ghosts in your financial machine. An emotional debt is any unresolved, unintegrated energy from a past event that is still active in your system. It is the lingering sting of a betrayal that you swore you were over. It is the cold stone of grief in your belly for a loss you never fully mourned. It is the hot flush of shame for a mistake you believe has defined you. It is every time you swallowed your anger, every time you repressed your sorrow, every time you told yourself, "I shouldn't feel this way." In those moments, you did not erase the feeling. You merely deferred it. You took out a loan. Imagine it clearly. Picture a moment in your past of deep hurt, rejection, or fear. In that moment, as a child or a younger version of yourself, the sheer energetic charge of the experience was too much to handle. To survive, to simply keep going, a part of you made a swift, unconscious transaction. It took the raw, overwhelming energy of that emotion and shoved it down into the deep vaults of your psyche. The contract for this loan was simple, signed in an instant. I will not feel this now, in exchange for a semblance of peace. But the universe, the impartial banker of energy, does not deal in semblances. It deals in truth. The debt was not cleared. It was merely recorded on a hidden ledger. And like any loan, it began to accrue interest. This is the crucial part you must understand. The interest on your emotional debts is not paid in some distant future. It is paid every single day, with the golden currency of your attention, that free-floating anxiety that hums beneath the surface of your quiet moments. That is an interest payment on a loan of fear, that sudden disproportionate flash of rage at a minor inconvenience. That is an interest payment on a loan of ancient, unexpressed anger, that chronic fatigue, that sense of weary resignation. That is the crushing weight of decades of accumulated interest payments draining your vital reserves. That pattern of self-sabotage that destroys your best efforts just as you approach success. It is your inner system, crippled by debt, foreclosing on your own bright future because it believes, at its core, that it is bankrupt. You have been paying for these past hurts over and over and over again, not with money, but with your life force, your peace of mind, your very presence. You have been funding the ghosts of yesterday with the gold of today. The audit we must now conduct is the process of turning on the lights in that deep vault and finally reading the terms of these contracts you never knew you signed. This requires courage. Of course it does. The vault of past pains is often guarded by a fierce dragon of fear. Its roar sounds like, "Don't go there, it will destroy you. Let sleeping dogs lie." But you are not a child anymore. You are the banker, returning to restore order. And the secret the dragon does not want you to know is that its fire is an illusion. It is composed of the very energy you have been feeding it. When you withdraw your fear, its flames diminish. The work is not to fight the dragon, but to walk past it with the quiet authority of the one who owns the vault. This is not an exercise in self-pity or in becoming a victim of your own story. It is the exact opposite. It is an act of supreme responsibility. It is the work of a sovereign being reclaiming their territory from the chaos of the past. So let us begin the audit. Let your awareness drift gently, like a hand scanning over the dusty spines of old books in your soul's library. Without force, without frantic searching, simply ask your deeper self to reveal a debt. It may appear as a feeling in your body, a tightness in your throat, a hollow ache in your chest. It may appear as a recurring, negative thought pattern, or it may appear as the face of a person towards whom you still hold a charge of resentment or hurt. Let one of these ledgers present itself to you. Do not open it all the way just yet. Simply notice the cover. What is its name? Is the title betrayal? Is it unworthiness? Is it abandonment? Is it grief? Your only job in this moment is to acknowledge its existence. You do not need to fix it. You do not need to analyze it or even understand its origins. The first, most powerful step is simply to see. You are the auditor, clipboard in hand, and you are making a simple note. Ah, yes, the account of my father's anger. I see it. It is here. Or, I see you, the debt of that painful breakup. I acknowledge this account is still open. In this simple, non-judgmental act of seeing, something profound happens. You stop paying the compounding interest of avoidance. You bring the unconscious into the light of the conscious. You are no longer a victim of the debt, but the auditor who is assessing it. The energy, which was previously a phantom, a ghost that haunted the hallways of your moods, is now an object of your awareness. And that which is an object of your awareness is no longer you. You are the awareness itself. You are the banker, and this debt is merely an item on a balance sheet. It is not the sum total of your worth. Scan your inner world now. Where do you feel the pull? What situations in your life cause an immediate, automatic withdrawal of your peace? That is a debt calling for your attention. What conversations do you avoid? What truths about yourself do you refuse to speak? These are markers for where the largest debts are held. When you lash out in anger, what unhealed hurt from your own past is truly speaking? When you feel the icy grip of anxiety, what future catastrophe are you prepaying for, based on the bankruptcies of your past? This is the landscape of your liabilities. For many, it is a vast and daunting territory. It can feel like you have been living your entire life in a state of profound emotional debt, and you are just now realizing the extent of it. Do not despair. This realization is not your downfall, it is your salvation. Acknowledging the depth of the debt is the first step toward solvency. It is the moment the banker finally understands the true financial picture, no matter how dire, and can therefore begin to formulate a plan for recovery. You have spent enough of your life force paying interest on the unchangeable past. The payment plan was automatic, unconscious, and crippling. Now you are awake. Now you can choose. But this raises a critical question. As you stand here, in the vault of your own being, surrounded by these toxic, high-interest loans, you must ask, who approved this? Who inside me was signing these contracts? Every bad loan needs a signature. Every disastrous investment needs a foolish advisor who promoted it as a wise move. For years, there has been a rogue financial advisor operating within your inner bank, making decisions not for your long-term wealth, but for its own short-term gain. This advisor thrives on drama, on fear, on comparison, and on the very grievances that constitute your largest debts. It is the architect of your inner bankruptcy. This advisor is your ego. And to truly secure the bank and clear the debts, you must now turn your attention to the saboteur. You must understand its methods, its motivations, and its lies. We have walked through the echoing halls of your inner vault and seen the ledgers of your emotional debts. A sobering question hangs in the charged air. Who signed these catastrophic loans? Who approved these investments in sorrow, these long-term commitments to resentment? Every bankrupt institution has a history of disastrous leadership. It is time to meet the chief financial officer of your suffering. It is time to meet your ego. Within the structure of your inner bank, the ego is the slick, fast-talking, and profoundly insecure financial advisor. It was not born evil. In fact, its origin was one of necessity. In your childhood, when your sense of self was fragile and the world seemed vast and threatening, the ego was formed as a protective shell. Its original job was simple: to create a separate identity, a me that could navigate the world of others. To do this, it built walls of belief, identity markers of personality, and a portfolio of past experiences that defined who I am. It was a survival mechanism, and it did its job well. But the problem with a survival mechanism is that it sees threats everywhere, long after the real danger has passed. The advisor you hired for a specific, temporary crisis has staged a hostile takeover and now runs the entire bank. This rogue advisor does not work for your ultimate well-being. It works on commission. It earns its fee not when you are peaceful, but when you engage in a transaction. The more drama, the more conflict, the more emotional turmoil, the more transaction fees it collects. Your peace is a stagnant market to the ego. It makes no money when you are simply present and content. And so, its primary function is to whisper in your ear, day and night, with alluring and terrifying advice designed to make you trade your peace for a quick, intoxicating hit of emotional energy. Listen closely to its sales pitch. It sidles up to you when someone cuts you off in traffic and whispers, "That was an attack on you. Your importance has been violated. You must invest in anger right now. Sell your calmness and buy 3 shares of self-righteous indignation." Feel that rush? That's your dividend. But it fails to mention the long-term consequence. Your nervous system is flooded with stress hormones. Your connection to the present moment is severed, and you have just spent precious golden currency on a worthless, fleeting stock of rage. It watches you scroll through the highlight reels of other people's lives and gives you its most trusted advice. Look at them. Their stock is soaring. Your portfolio is pathetic by comparison. You must immediately invest in jealousy and inadequacy. Short sell your self-worth. It's a falling market anyway. It gets a commission on your feeling of less than, because in that feeling, the sense of a separate, struggling me is powerfully reinforced. The ego's favorite investment is the stock of being right. It will encourage you to pour vast fortunes of your attention and energy into winning an argument, proving a point, defending a belief. It will leverage all your assets to secure that one tiny victory in a conversation. The commission it collects is a heady, momentary feeling of superiority. The cost, which it hides in the fine print of the contract, is your connection to another human being, your openness to learning, and the vast, peaceful kingdom of humility. This advisor is the architect of your debts because it convinces you that your safety lies in holding on to grievances. Forgiveness, in its view, is a catastrophic loss. You must hold on to that resentment, it insists. It is your only insurance against being hurt again. That hurt is an asset that defines you, that makes your story valid, and so you cling to the toxic debt, paying daily interest in bitterness, while the ego gets its commission for keeping the story of poor wronged me alive and well. You must understand the ego's deepest, most hidden motivation. It is not to make you happy, it is not to make you successful. Its sole aim is to ensure its own survival. And the ego, the sense of a separate self, can only exist through comparison, through conflict, through judgment, through problems. It needs a you and a them. It needs a right and a wrong. It needs a past to regret and a future to fear. True peace, the boundless presence of the now, is poison to the ego. In deep stillness, the rigid boundaries of me dissolve. In profound love, the separation it lives on evaporates. In the light of pure awareness, its shadowy form disappears. A peaceful client is an unemployed advisor. Your awakening is its obsolescence. How then do you fire this saboteur? You do not fight it. To fight the ego is an egoic act. It is to engage in the very conflict on which it thrives. You would be using the advisor's own flawed strategy to try to beat it, and it will always outmaneuver you on its home turf. The act of firing the ego is far more subtle and infinitely more powerful. It is an act of quiet revolution. You simply stop taking its advice. You withdraw your belief. This begins by learning to distinguish its voice from the silent wisdom of the true banker, your deeper self. The ego's voice is always loud, frantic, and urgent. It is the voice of panic in the stock market crash. It is heavy with the baggage of the past and the anxieties of the future. It is judgmental, critical, and speaks in absolutes. Always, never, should, must. It feels like a contraction in your body, a tightening, a tension. The voice of your true self, the banker, is almost always silent. It is a quiet knowing, a gentle intuition, a calm observation. It does not need to shout, for it is the stillness beneath all noise. Its perspective is not rooted in your personal history, but in the timeless present. It does not judge, it simply sees. Its guidance does not feel like a frantic command, but like an expansion, a release, a quiet space opening up within you. The practice is this. When the advisor's voice arises in your mind, you need to worry about this now. You have to relitigate that conversation. You are not good enough. You simply observe it. You do not fuse with it. You do not obey. You recognize the voice. Ah, the advisor is speaking. It is giving its fearful market report. You listen, you nod, and you calmly decline the trade. With the authority of the chairman of the board, you say internally, "Thank you for your input. We will not be investing our energy there today." Each time you do this, you reclaim your power. Each time you choose the quiet presence over the noisy drama, you defund the ego's operations. You stop signing the contracts. You stop authorizing the transactions. The advisor may still shout from the corner of the office for a while. Its voice may become even more shrill as it feels its authority slipping. But without your investment of belief, without the currency of your attention to fuel its trades, its voice will grow weaker. Its presence will fade from the boardroom of your mind into the distant lobby, until it is nothing more than a faint, irrelevant echo. By seeing the ego for what it is, a fear-based advisor trading in a phantom market of its own creation, you are now free. You are free to learn the principles of the real market. You are ready to stop listening to the panicked gossip from the trading floor and begin studying the universal laws that govern all energetic exchange. We must now turn our attention from the inner saboteur to the immutable constitution of the cosmos itself. We must learn the fundamental rule of the universal stock market, the law of vibration. We have dismissed the frantic, fear-mongering advisor. We have cleared the trading floor of the ego's noise and revoked its authority to make trades with your life force. An expansive quiet now fills the halls of your inner bank. In this new quiet, you are ready to stop looking at the fraudulent charts the ego once showed you and learn to read the universal ticker tape, the one great law that underpins all of creation. You are ready to understand the operating physics of reality itself. This is the law of vibration. The mystics of all ages have whispered of this truth, and now the pioneers on the cutting edge of physics are beginning to touch its edges. The foundational principle is this: Beneath the persistent illusion of solidity, nothing is solid. Everything, from the chair you are sitting on, to the thoughts running through your mind, to the most distant star in the cosmos, is energy. Everything is a dance of particles, a wave of potential, vibrating at an almost unimaginable speed. Everything is singing its own unique song. This is not a metaphor. It is the fundamental nature of the universe. Your anger has a frequency. Your joy has a frequency. Your peace has a different frequency still. Every possible state of being is a specific vibrational signature. Now, imagine this universe of vibration as a single, colossal, and perfectly efficient stock market. It is a living, breathing exchange of energy. On this market, every thought, every feeling, every belief is a publicly traded company. There is the towering blue-chip stock of love. There is the volatile, speculative stock of fear. There is the steady, dividend-paying stock of gratitude, and the toxic, bankrupt stock of resentment. And you, in your entirety, are a walking, talking brokerage house on this universal exchange. Your personal ticker symbol is your unique consciousness. And the most important metric, the one that determines everything, is your current stock price. This price is not determined by your bank balance, your job title, or the approval of others. Your value, on the one market that truly matters, is determined by the dominant frequency of your being in this very moment. Your vibrational state is your net worth. The ego, your former advisor, fundamentally misunderstood how this market works. It believed that you had to manipulate the external world to feel good inside. It was constantly trying to game the system, chasing after rising stocks, shorting others, living in a state of perpetual panic. But the master banker understands the truth. The market does not give you what you want. It does not respond to your begging, your wishing, or your demanding. The market is impersonal, impartial, and unerringly just. It gives you what you are. It perfectly matches your broadcasted signal with people, circumstances, and events of an identical frequency. This is the true meaning of like attracts like. It is not a magical charm. It is a cosmic law of resonance, as immutable as the law of gravity. If your being is consistently vibrating at the frequency of frustration, the universal market will flawlessly deliver to you more circumstances to be frustrated about. It is not punishing you. It is simply matching your signal. If you have heavily invested your energy in the stock of victimhood, the market will provide you with an endless supply of oppressors and unfair situations to validate your investment. If, however, your dominant frequency is one of genuine peace, the market must, by law, arrange itself around you in a peaceful way. Opportunities, people, and ideas that resonate with peace will find you as if by magic, drawn to the powerful, coherent signal you are broadcasting. Look at the stocks the ego advised you to buy. Fear is a penny stock. It promises a quick, sharp jolt of energy, the illusion of being prepared for the worst, but it is fundamentally unstable and always trends towards zero. Its dividends are anxiety, stress, and illness. Resentment is an even worse investment. It's like buying shares in a company that you know is bankrupt and then being forced to pour more of your own money into it every day just to keep it on the exchange. It offers no upside, only a guaranteed, draining loss. Now consider the blue-chip stocks of the universe. Gratitude. This is perhaps the most stable and highest yield investment you can ever make. A single, genuine share of gratitude for the air in your lungs or the warmth of the sun on your skin sends a powerful, high-frequency signal into the market. The universe, the perfect matching engine, must respond by sending you more experiences and circumstances for which to be grateful. Love, not as a needy romantic attachment, but as an unconditional, radiant state of being, is the market index itself. To vibrate at the frequency of love is to own a share in every successful company on the exchange. It is to be in harmony with the creative force of the universe. So what is the work of the inner banker? It is to stop trying to manipulate the external market and to start focusing on the fundamentals of your own company. The master banker does not stand on the sidewalk yelling at the electronic ticker to change. The master banker goes back to the headquarters, their own inner world, and works on improving the company's value from the inside out. They improve the product, streamline operations, and foster a healthy corporate culture. Your job is to manage your own frequency. You can check your own ticker price at any given moment. Do it now, without judgment, with the neutral curiosity of a seasoned analyst. Check in with your internal state. What is the dominant feeling tone in your body? Is it the frantic, jagged static of anxiety? Is it the heavy, slow molasses of sadness? Is it the hard, sharp edge of anger? Or is it the low, steady hum of contentment? That feeling right now is your signal. That is what you are broadcasting. That is the order you are placing with the universe. Shifting your frequency is not an act of brute force. You cannot simply command yourself to be happy. The market is too honest for that. It reads your authentic vibration, not the mask you are wearing. Positive thinking that is just a thin layer of paint over a crumbling foundation of fear is useless. The market sees the foundation. The shift comes from small, conscious choices. It is the decision to withdraw your attention from a fearful thought and place it on your breath. That is a shift in frequency. It is the choice to release a small resentment you have been holding onto. That is a shift. It is the genuine act of finding one small thing in your immediate environment to appreciate. That is a powerful shift. Each conscious choice to release a lower vibration and embrace a higher one is a trade you are making in your own favor. You are selling a failing stock and buying a blue-chip one. The greatest obstacle to maintaining a high, clear, and powerful signal is noise. The constant, low-frequency chatter of the egoic mind, its worries, its judgments, its grievances, a form of energetic static. It scrambles your signal, making it weak, chaotic, and incoherent. To truly become a master investor in this universal market, to broadcast a clear signal of peace, abundance, and love, you must first find a place within you that is free from this interference. You must discover the lead-lined, soundproof chamber at the very heart of your inner bank, where the pure, high-frequency signal of your true self originates, clear and undisturbed. This place is not a concept or an idea. It is an experience. It is the vast, potent, and endlessly wealthy treasury of silence. We have spoken of the universal market, this vast, vibrational exchange that mirrors your inner state. We have spoken of the signal you are broadcasting and the low-frequency static of the ego that scrambles its clarity. A natural question then arises: where is the broadcasting tower? How do you generate a clear, powerful, high-frequency signal? The answer is not found by adding more noise, no matter how positive. It is not found in shouting louder affirmations to drown out the fear. The source of all true power, all clarity, and all high vibrations is found not by adding, but by entering the great stillness from which all sound and all silence is born. We must now speak of silence. Do not mistake this silence for mere emptiness. Emptiness is a lack, an absence. The silence we speak of is a presence. It is a fullness, so profound it requires no form. It is the silent, fertile soil from which the entire forest of creation grows. It is the unpainted canvas that holds the infinite potential of every masterpiece. The world, and your own mind, has taught you to fear this silence. You have learned to fill every available space with noise, with distraction, with doing. Because in the silence, the ego, your rogue advisor, has no ground to stand on. Its marketplace of problems and identities cannot exist there. Imagine your conscious mind, with its endless commentary, its planning, its worrying, its replaying of the past, as a bustling, chaotic, open-air market. It is a cacophony of vendors shouting for your attention. The vendor of anxiety is screaming about tomorrow's potential disasters. The vendor of regret is loudly hawking yesterday's mistakes. The vendor of desire is showcasing all the things you lack. You have spent most of your life wandering through the crowded, noisy alleyways of this market, believing it to be the entirety of your world, spending your golden coins of attention at every stall. But there is a secret in this market. Directly beneath the worn cobblestones of this frantic square, hidden under a simple iron grate that most people walk over their entire lives without noticing, there is a staircase. It leads down, away from the sun and the noise, into the deep, cool, silent bedrock of your own being. This staircase leads to the vault. This is the treasury of silence. Let us descend that staircase now. With each step down, the noise of the market begins to fade. The shouting voices become muffled, then indistinct, then nothing but a faint, irrelevant hum. The air grows cooler, stiller. The frantic energy of the marketplace is replaced by a feeling of immense, solid, and profound peace. You reach the bottom and stand before a vast, heavy door. It opens not with a key of effort, but with a key of surrender. You let go of the need to think, to solve, to be someone, and the great door swings open without a sound. You are now inside the treasury of silence. Look around. There are no stacks of gold coins or glittering jewels here. The wealth contained in this vault is of a far more precious and fundamental nature. The first treasure you discover here is peace. This is not the fleeting peace of a problem temporarily solved. This is the peace that is your nature, the unshakable stillness that exists beneath all the storms of your life. It is the bedrock of your being, and here, in the treasury, you can feel it directly. It is solid, it is real, it is yours. The second treasure you find is clarity. In the noisy market above, you cannot hear your own wisdom. Your intuition is drowned out by the shouts of 1,000 fears. But here, in the absolute quiet of the vault, the gentle, guiding voice of your deeper self becomes clear as a bell. The answers you have been desperately seeking in the marketplace are not there. They are here, waiting patiently in the stillness. The third treasure is a boundless well of creativity. No truly original idea, no stroke of genius, no elegant solution was ever born in the frantic noise of the market. All true creativity is drawn up from this silent well. It is not manufactured by the thinking mind, it is received by the quiet mind. Here in the treasury, you are connected to the source of all inspiration, the infinite field of potential from which all forms arise. And finally, the greatest treasure of all, limitless energy. The marketplace, with its constant transactions and dramas, is utterly exhausting. It is a constant drain on your life force. This silence is the charging station for your soul. To spend even a few moments here in the vault is to plug your entire being directly into the universal power source. You emerge not tired but renewed, not drained but overflowing. The master banker understands that the true assets are not in the fluctuating prices of the market above, but here, in the untouchable, infinite wealth of the silent vault. They do not live their lives entirely in the marketplace. They make a daily pilgrimage down these stairs. It is here they make their most important decisions, not from a place of frantic calculation in response to the market's panic, but from a place of deep, silent knowing. Experience this now. Allow your awareness to settle. Notice the sounds around you, but listen not to the sounds themselves. Listen instead to the silence that holds them. The silence is the canvas upon which the sound is painted. The silence was here before the sound and will be here after it is gone. The silence is more fundamental. Now, turn your awareness inward. Notice the thoughts that drift through your mind. See them as inner sounds, as clouds passing through the vast sky of your awareness. You are not the clouds. You are the sky. Let them pass. Do not engage them. Do not follow them. With each thought that drifts away, you are left with a small gap of inner silence. Rest in that gap. That is the doorway to the treasury. Let yourself sink into that quiet space. Deeper now. Beneath the river of thought, there is a silent ocean of pure being. There is nothing to do here, nothing to achieve, nothing to prove. Simply be. Be the stillness. Be the silence. Feel the profound rest in this non-doing. This is your home. This is your source. You are not creating the silence. You are simply ceasing to create the noise. And in doing so, you discover what has been here all along, waiting for you. The vault has never been locked. You were simply too busy in the marketplace to notice the staircase. This treasury is always here, always available, just beneath the surface of your most chaotic day. But to descend the staircase at will, to open the heavy door to the vault in a moment of stress or confusion, you need a key. You need a reliable tool that can transport your awareness from the noise of the market to the peace of the treasury in an instant. This key is not rare or complex. You do not have to purchase it or earn it. You already possess it. It has been with you your entire life, the most intimate and consistently overlooked tool you have. This key, this sacred bridge between the world of noise and the treasury of silence, is your own breath. We stood at the door of the silent treasury, that vast inner vault where the true assets of your being are stored. I spoke of a key, a simple and ever-present tool that grants you access to the boundless wealth of peace and presence held within. That key has been with you since your first moment of life, and it will be with you until your last. It is the most automatic and unconscious of your bodily functions, and yet it is the most powerful and transformative tool for conscious awakening you will ever possess. This key, this bridge between the physical world of form and the formless world of the spirit, is your breath. If the treasury of silence is your infinite bank account, then the breath is your personal, universal ATM, your automated teller machine for the soul. Consider the perfection of this metaphor. This machine is available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no matter where you are. It requires no external power source. There are no transaction fees. The currency it dispenses is not paper, but presence. It does not give you dollars, but peace. The only personal identification number required to operate this machine is your focused, undivided attention. The ego, your dethroned financial advisor, wants you to believe that accessing peace is a complex transaction. It insists you must first solve all your external problems, achieve a certain status, or acquire specific possessions. Its method is a convoluted wire transfer involving multiple outside agencies, exorbitant fees of stress and effort, and with no guarantee of success. The way of the spirit, the way of the inner banker, is infinitely simpler. It is a direct withdrawal. Why travel across the world seeking a loan when there is an ATM in your own heart, ready to dispense the infinite riches of your own being? The breath is the ultimate meeting point, the sacred threshold where the unseen becomes seen. It is a physical process, the mechanical action of your diaphragm, the exchange of gases in your lungs. Yet it is also a spiritual one. It is the rhythm of life itself, the subtle energy, the prana or ki, that animates your form. To be unaware of your breath is to live only in the material lobby of your own bank. To become conscious of your breath is to unlock the door to the vault. It is to remember that you are both the physical body and the formless spirit that gives it life. The breath is the current that flows between these two realms. Let us now learn to operate this divine machine, not with the hurried desperation of a debtor, but with the calm, deliberate intention of a wealthy banker accessing their own funds. We will explore this transaction in 3 distinct phases: the in-breath, the sacred pause, and the out-breath. This is not about forcing or controlling the breath. It is about becoming intimate with its natural, intelligent rhythm. First, the in-breath, the inhale. Let us begin a withdrawal now. Allow your next inhalation to happen, but this time, follow it with your full attention. Do not think about it. Feel it. Feel the air, cool and fresh, as it enters your nostrils. Follow its path down your throat, into your chest. The inhale is not an act of taking, but an act of profound receiving. You are not just taking in air. You are accepting the gift of life from the universe in this moment. With every conscious inhale, you are saying yes to existence. You are drawing in the very energy that animates the stars and stirs the oceans. Imagine you are breathing in pure peace, drawing the stillness from the treasury of silence directly into the cells of your body. Feel your belly soften and expand, your ribs gently widening. Let yourself be filled. This is the first step of the transaction. You are inserting your card and allowing the machine to connect to the source. Most of your life, you have breathed unconsciously, taking shallow, defensive sips of air as if you were not worthy of the fullness of life. Now, as the banker, you authorize a full withdrawal. You receive it completely, gratefully. Now we come to the second phase, the most overlooked and yet the most potent moment in the entire cycle, the sacred pause at the peak of the inhalation. For just a fraction of a second after you have fully received the breath, there is a moment of perfect stillness. Everything stops. The universe holds its breath with you. This is the point where the transaction is processed. In this sacred pause, you are fully connected to the treasury. You are not breathing in, you are not breathing out, you are simply full. You are one with the source. There is no past, no future. There is only the fullness of the now. In this stillness lies all the power. It is the silence between the musical notes that gives the melody its beauty. It is the eye of the hurricane. It is the 0 point of creation. Do not rush past it. Linger there with your awareness for just a moment. Feel the quiet power in that peak, the silent hum of your account being flooded with pure presence. Then comes the third phase, the out-breath, the exhale. As the pause naturally dissolves, allow the breath to leave your body. The exhale is the great release. It is the art of letting go. If the inhale is receiving, the exhale is giving back. You are not pushing the air out. You are simply allowing it to depart, like a guest leaving your home after a welcome visit. With your attention, follow the breath as it flows out, carrying with it all that is no longer needed. Imagine it as a warm, gentle river, carrying away the carbon dioxide from your cells, but also the tension from your shoulders, the worry from your mind, the tightness from your jaw. Each conscious exhale is a profound act of surrender. It is a declaration of trust in the universe, an affirmation that you are safe enough to let go of your guard. You release the old, the stale, the unnecessary, knowing with certainty that the next fresh, life-giving inhale is already on its way. You are completing the transaction and in the process, cleansing your entire system. Inhale, you receive peace. Exhale, you release tension. This is the divine economy. The breath is not only your ATM, it is also your most honest financial advisor, a real-time diagnostic tool for your inner state. Your breath pattern is a perfect, unvarnished reflection of your current relationship with life. When you are anxious, your breathing becomes shallow, rapid, and high in the chest. This is the breath of the debtor, the panicked trader watching the market crash. This pattern tells your nervous system that you are in danger, flooding your body with stress hormones and reinforcing the very anxiety that caused it. You are living in a state of energetic overdraft. When you are afraid or bracing for impact, you might hold your breath altogether. This is the sign of a frozen account, a refusal to transact with the present moment. It is a state of profound resistance to what is. Now, observe the breath of a Vipassana, a sleeping animal in a state of deep peace. The breath is slow, deep, rhythmic, originating low in the belly. This is the breath of the master banker, calm, centered, and fully solvent. This breathing pattern sends a powerful message of safety and well-being throughout your entire system. It signals to the security desk of your brain, the amygdala, that the threat has passed and it can stand down. This is not just a psychological trick, it is a physiological reality. You can directly regulate your emotional and mental state by consciously regulating your breath. Let us try this. No matter how you feel right now, consciously slow your breathing down. Lengthen your exhalation, making it just a little longer than your inhalation. Breathe deeply into your belly. Take 3, 4, 5 such breaths. You have just sent a direct command from the CEO's office of your consciousness down to every department of your body, a command that says, all is well, we are safe, we are solvent. Feel the immediate shift. Feel the subtle relaxation in your muscles, the slight slowing of your racing thoughts. You have just used the breath not only to make a withdrawal of peace, but to actively change your internal market conditions. You have become the cause, not the effect. This powerful ATM is not just available to you in quiet, meditative moments. Its true value is that it is portable. It is with you in the line at the grocery store when impatience arises. It is with you in the car when traffic is stopped. It is with you at your desk when you feel overwhelmed by emails. It is with you right before you enter a difficult conversation. In these moments, you do not need to close your eyes or sit in a special posture. You can make a discreet, one-breath withdrawal. Simply bring your awareness to one full, conscious breath cycle. Feel the inhale, the pause, the exhale. That is it. You have just withdrawn enough presence to disconnect from the ego's reactive drama and reconnect with the silent wisdom of the banker. You have brought a moment of the Treasury's silence into the chaos of the marketplace. One conscious breath is often all it takes to break the spell of unconsciousness. You have now learned how to operate the key, how to access your infinite internal reserves of peace and presence at will. You are no longer an unconscious debtor at the mercy of life's unpredictable market fluctuations. You have a funded account. You are solvent. With this newfound capital of presence, with this readily available resource of calm, you are now equipped to begin the great work of restructuring your finances. You are ready to turn your attention to the old, outstanding liabilities on your books, the emotional debts that have been crippling your inner economy for years. The first, largest, and most pervasive debt that holds so many souls in bondage is the debt of unforgiveness. It is a toxic asset that poisons the entire portfolio. Approaching this work from a state of fear or lack is impossible, but you are no longer in that state. With the calm, steadying power of the breath as your foundation, with the knowledge that you can fund yourself with peace at any moment, you now have the resourcefulness to begin paying off your debts. You can approach this challenging work not with fear, but with the quiet, unshakable confidence of one who knows, with absolute certainty, that their account can never, ever run dry. With a funded account and the key to your inner treasury in hand, you are now solvent. You have access to the calming, centering capital of your own presence, available with every conscious breath. From this new position of strength, we can now turn our attention to the ledger and begin the work of clearing your debts. We must start with the most toxic asset on the books, the one that leaches value from your entire portfolio and keeps your vibrational net worth perpetually low. We must address the crippling debt of resentment, the sour, long-term investment in grievance. We must learn the high art of forgiveness. Let us be clear from the outset. The forgiveness we will speak of is not the weak, sentimental act the ego imagines it to be. It is not about condoning a wrong that was done to you. It is not about pretending the pain did not happen. It is not about forcing a reconciliation with someone who is unsafe. and it is most certainly not a gift you begrudgingly give to your offender for their benefit. Forgiveness, in the context of your inner bank, is a profoundly practical, and one might even say selfish, act of financial liberation. It is the strategic decision to liquidate a dead asset that is poisoning your entire inner economy. Imagine that in your investment portfolio, you hold shares in a company that went bankrupt a decade ago. The stock is worthless. Its ticker symbol was delisted from the exchange years past. It is, for all practical purposes, dead. And yet, every single morning, you deliberately open your portfolio, find this worthless stock, and stare at it. You spend your precious golden coins of attention rereading the news of its collapse. You pour your vital energy into the memory of what you lost. You spend your day bitter about the poor decision you made or the fraudulent CEO who ruined the company. From a financial perspective, this is sheer insanity. A wise investor would liquidate the asset, write off the loss, and reinvest their freed-up capital into a profitable venture. To hold a grievance, to refuse to forgive, is to be that insane investor. The hurt, the betrayal, the injustice from the past is that bankrupt stock. The event is over. It exists now only as a memory, an energetic pattern you are choosing to keep alive with your own attention. You believe that by holding on to your anger and resentment, you are somehow punishing the person who wronged you. You imagine your bitterness is a weapon you are aiming at them, but you are the one drinking the poison. They are most likely living their life, unconcerned with your inner state, while you are chained to a ghost, tethered to a dead account, voluntarily funding its existence with your own life force, day after day. The cost of this toxic asset is catastrophic. It is not a passive holding, it is an active drain. The energy required to maintain resentment, to constantly replay the story of your wound, is immense. It is a constant low-level withdrawal from your main account, leaving you perpetually fatigued and emotionally overdrawn. This single toxic asset lowers your entire vibrational frequency. It broadcasts a signal of bitterness and victimhood into the universal market, ensuring that you attract more experiences to feel bitter and victimized about. It leaks its poison into every other investment you have. It makes you suspicious in new relationships, preventing you from investing in the blue-chip stock of trust. It sours moments of potential joy because the story of your wound feels more real, more important. The ego, your old rogue advisor, will fight you fiercely on this liquidation. It will whisper, "You can't let it go." To forgive is to say what they did was okay. Your anger is all you have. It's what makes you right. This story of your wound is proof of your innocence. The ego loves this toxic asset because this story is one of its most prized possessions. The identity of the one who was wronged is a powerful, defining role. To forgive is to relinquish that role. To let go of the story is, for the ego, a kind of death. But you are the banker now, not the ego, and your job is to make sound financial decisions for the health of the entire enterprise, not to protect the ego's attachment to a painful but familiar identity. The act of liquidation, the art of forgiveness, is a 100% internal transaction. It requires no one else's participation. You do not need to call the person, write them a letter, or see them face to face. The contract of resentment was signed only in your heart, and it is only in your heart that it can be cancelled. So, let us perform this transaction now. Bring to mind a person or a situation against which you hold a grievance. Choose a smaller one to start with, if a larger one feels too overwhelming. Now, draw upon the wealth you have learned to access. Take a deep, calming breath, funding yourself with the peace of your own treasury. Anchor yourself in the calm authority of the banker. First, look at the situation clearly and acknowledge the pain. Do not deny it. The pain was real. The hurt was legitimate. Honor that feeling for a moment. See it as the initial, unfortunate market event. Second, see the story you have wrapped around the pain. The story is what you tell yourself about the pain. He always disrespects me. She betrayed me and ruined my life. I'll never get over this. See this story as the toxic stock certificate you have been clutching for years. The pain was an event. The story is the investment you chose to make in that event. Third, with the sober eyes of a banker, calculate the cost of this investment. Feel, in your own body, the energetic drain of holding this grievance. Feel the tension it creates, the bitterness it generates, the joy it steals. Acknowledge the price you have been paying to keep this dead asset in your portfolio. Now, from the seat of your power, as the sovereign banker of your inner world, you make a conscious choice. You speak the words internally, with quiet, firm intention. I have paid enough. The cost of holding this asset is too high. It is bankrupting my present moment. For the health of my own soul, for the sake of my own freedom, I now choose to liquidate this asset. I withdraw all of my energy from this story. I cut my losses. I reclaim my power. With your next exhalation, perform the release. Visualize an energetic cord connecting you to that person or memory. See it clearly, and as you breathe out, visualize a pair of golden scissors in your hand and cut the cord. Watch the story, the bitterness, the resentment float away, dissolving into nothingness. You are not saying what happened was okay. You are not excusing their behavior. You are simply declaring, I will no longer allow what happened in the past to determine the energetic reality of my present. This account is now closed. Breathe in and feel the space that has been created. Breathe out and let go of the last remnants of the charge. Repeat this visualization with each breath as many times as you need. Feel the shift as you reclaim your own stolen energy. The return on this investment is immediate and immense. It is a massive influx of your own capital flooding back into your account. The energy that was tied up for years in the useless task of maintaining a grievance is now free. It is available to you right now to invest in new, high-yield ventures, in peace, in creativity, in joy, in connection, in the simple, profound richness of this present moment. The space in your portfolio once occupied by that toxic asset is now open, clean, and ready for something beautiful to be planted there. You have just cleared a major liability from the past, a debt that was secretly bankrupting you. You have taken a courageous and necessary step toward total financial and spiritual solvency, but the ego, ever resourceful in its mission to create problems, does not only dwell on the past. Its other favorite strategy for keeping you in a state of fear and lack is to speculate wildly and disastrously on the future. It creates endless what-if scenarios that you pay for upfront with the precious currency of anxiety. Having addressed the toxic debts of the past, we must now turn our gaze forward and learn how to stop paying interest on debts we have not yet incurred. We must learn about the ultimate insurance policy against the imagined terrors of tomorrow, the power of trust. We have undertaken the courageous work of auditing the past. We have stood in the dusty vaults of memory, opened the ledgers of old wounds, and begun the profound financial liberation of forgiveness. A great weight has been lifted. The energy that was chained to the ghosts of yesterday is now free. But no sooner have we cleared these historical debts than the rogue advisor, the ego, ever vigilant in its mission to create insolvency, points its trembling finger toward a new frontier for fear, the vast, unknowable, and supposedly treacherous territory of the future. The ego is the most fraudulent and successful insurance salesman in the universe. Its business model is built on one thing: selling you policies against every conceivable disaster, every potential pain, every imagined failure. It comes to you with a glossy brochure filled with terrifying images, a policy against being rejected, a policy against financial loss, a policy against illness, a policy against looking foolish in public, a policy against being alone, a policy against not being enough. It will sell you a policy for every shadow that flits across your mind. And what is the premium for these comprehensive policies? It is your peace of mind. It is your presence. It is the golden currency of your attention, paid daily, moment by moment, in the form of worry. Every time you indulge in a fearful what-if scenario, you are making a payment. Every time you mentally rehearse a disaster, you are paying the premium. You are diligently funding an insurance company whose only product is fear, and whose only promise is that if you worry enough, you might somehow prevent the inevitable unfolding of life. The ego will tell you that this is a responsible activity. It will disguise worry as planning or being prepared. This is its most clever and insidious lie. We must, as wise bankers, learn to distinguish between the two. Planning is a practical, present-moment activity. It is grounded, calm, clear, and action-oriented. You assess a situation, you identify the next logical step, and you take it. Planning is done with the resourceful mind of the banker. Worry, on the other hand, is a cyclical, stagnant, and fear-based mental state. It has no intention of arriving at a solution. Its sole purpose is to spin the wheels of anxiety, to generate the feeling of fear itself. Planning is a path forward. Worry is a hamster wheel, furiously spinning in a cage of your own making, going nowhere. Planning happens in the present to create a better future. Worry attacks and consumes the present on behalf of a phantom future that does not exist. From an energetic perspective, from the view of the universal market, worry is one of the most destructive investments you can make. By constantly focusing your attention and pouring your emotional energy into the stock of disaster, you are sending a powerful and coherent signal to the universe to deliver circumstances that match that frequency. You are, in effect, using the sacred power of your creative consciousness to pray for what you do not want. You are meticulously building the very future you dread by funding it with the currency of your present moment fear. The insurance policy becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. What then is the alternative? If you cancel these policies, are you not leaving yourself vulnerable, exposed to the harsh realities of life? The alternative to this fraudulent insurance of worry is the profound and liberating power of trust. Trust is the only policy you will ever need, and its premium is nothing. In fact, it pays you a dividend of infinite peace. Let us define this trust, for it is not the naive, Pollyanna-ish optimism the ego scoffs at. Trust is not the blind belief that everything will happen exactly as your ego desires. It is not the assurance that you will never face pain, loss, or challenge. Trust is the deep, quiet, unshakable knowing that you will be able to handle whatever happens. It is a supreme confidence, not in a specific outcome, but in your own resilience, your own resourcefulness, and the fundamental intelligence and goodness of life itself. It is the inner certainty that even if the storm comes, the banker within you has the assets, the peace, the presence, the creativity drawn from the treasury of Silenceto navigate it. Worry is the belief that you are fragile and the world is hostile. Trust is the knowledge that you are whole and the world is, on a level deeper than circumstance, fundamentally on your side. Let us take a moment, as the master banker, to review your current insurance portfolio. Open the filing cabinet of your mind. See the thick, heavy policy documents, all sold to you by the ego. Here is the policy against failing at my new career. Look at the premium you pay in daily anxiety. Here is the one against my partner leaving me, paid for with moments of suspicion and neediness. Here is the policy against public speaking failure, paid for weeks in advance with sleepless nights. One by one, see them for what they are, fraudulent contracts. Now, with the full authority of your position, you cancel them. Take your inner stamp and mark each one in bold red letters. Void. You declare, I will no longer pay for protection against a future that exists only in my mind. I cancel the automatic payments of worry. I withdraw my belief in these phantom threats. Feel the immense relief as you shred these documents. The salesman has been ejected from the building. The deepest secret of trust lies in this realization. Your true self is ultimately uninsurable because it is indestructible. Events can happen to your body, your career, your relationships, your finances. The waves of life can and will rise and fall, but they cannot happen to you, the silent, aware presence watching the entire show. The awareness that is reading these words right now has never been harmed. It has witnessed pain, it has witnessed joy, it has witnessed boredom, but it, in its essence, is untouched, like the deep ocean is untouched by the turmoil on its surface. To know yourself as this deathless, formless awareness is the only insurance policy you will ever need. When you know that your core being cannot be threatened, the frantic need to control the future evaporates. Living in trust is a practice. It is the moment-to-moment choice to bring your attention out of the imagined future and back into the tangible reality of the now. When the insurance salesman of the ego knocks on your door with a new, terrifying scenario, a new policy to sell you, you do not argue with him. You do not engage in his sales pitch. You meet him at the door with the calm, steady power of your breath. You anchor yourself in the present moment. You feel your feet on the floor. You feel the air entering your lungs. You thank him for his concern, and then you politely and firmly show him the door, choosing instead to invest your attention in the simple, solid reality of this one sacred moment. By releasing the crushing debts of the past through forgiveness, and by canceling the fraudulent, fear-based insurance policies on the future through trust, you arrive. You land, perhaps for the first time, fully in the only place reality ever occurs, the raw, unfiltered, and immediate now. There is nowhere else to go. The past is a cancelled check. The future is a credit line you have refused to open. You are left here in the isness of this moment. But landing here, we discover that the present moment is not always comfortable. It is not always peaceful or pleasant. Sometimes the now is painful. Sometimes it is boring. Sometimes it is confusing. To stand here in the reality of what is, without the escape hatch of past grievances or future anxieties, requires the most fundamental asset of all. It is the bedrock upon which all true inner wealth is built. To be truly free, we must cultivate the great, quiet power of acceptance. We have walked a great distance on this inner journey. We have faced the ghosts of the past, liquidating the toxic assets of grievance through the profound alchemy of forgiveness. We have stood at the edge of the future, cancelling the fraudulent insurance policies of worry through the quiet power of trust. And so we arrive, stripped of our baggage, naked and without agenda, in the only time that has ever been or ever will be. We land squarely in the stark, vivid, and unarguable reality of the now. Take a breath here, feel this arrival. For the mind, which is accustomed to living anywhere but here, this landing can be a shock. Its immediate ingrained impulse is to judge the landing site. It instantly labels the present moment. This is good, this is bad, I like this, I don't like this. The moment that judgment arises, the mind prepares for its next move, to cling to what it likes and to resist what it dislikes. This inner movement of resistance, this subtle or overt inner no to the reality of the present moment, is the primary source of all human suffering. To stand in this space without immediately trying to flee or to fix it requires the master asset of the solvent soul. It is the foundation upon which all lasting inner wealth is built. This is the profound and deeply misunderstood power of acceptance. Let us be ruthless in our clarity, for no concept has been more distorted by the ego. When the ego hears the word acceptance, it immediately translates it as defeat. It imagines resignation, passivity, weakness. It believes that to accept a situation is to condone it, to approve of it, to give up and let it vanquish you. This is the ego's great misunderstanding, because the ego's only language is resistance. It believes that to not fight is to lose. The inner banker, however, operates from a place of deeper wisdom. The banker understands that acceptance is not a passive surrender. It is an active, intelligent, and supremely powerful strategy. Imagine your life, the unfolding of reality, as a great, powerful river. The current is the unchangeable isness of this very moment. It is raining. You feel tired. Someone said something you didn't like. The river is simply flowing. Resistance is the insane act of pointing your small boat upstream and rowing against this immense, immovable current with all your might. Look at the energy you expend. You strain every muscle, your heart pounds, your mind is consumed with the struggle, with the injustice of the river's flow. And for all this heroic effort, what is the result? You are exhausted, you are miserable, and you have not moved. In fact, you may have even lost ground, swept back by the very current you were fighting. This is the perfect metaphor for non-acceptance. It is a futile, energy-draining war with reality. And reality always wins. Every moment you spend in resistance is a catastrophic withdrawal from your energy account with zero return on investment. It is the single most inefficient and bankrupting use of your life force. You are fighting a battle you cannot, in principle, ever win. You cannot, through sheer force of will, make it not be raining. You cannot, by arguing with it in your head, undo the difficult thing that has already happened. To attempt to do so is to pour your golden coins of attention into a black hole. Acceptance, then, is the wise, strategic decision to stop wasting your precious capital on a fight you are guaranteed to lose. It is the moment you stop rowing upstream. It is the profound act of turning your boat around to face downstream, aligning yourself with the flow of the river. The ego screams, "No, you're giving up. The current will take you wherever it wants." But this is where the banker's wisdom shines. The moment you turn the boat, you are no longer fighting the river's power. You are now aligned with it. All the energy you were wasting in the struggle is instantly returned to you. Your account is flooded with recaptured capital. And what do you do with this massive influx of energy? You steer. This is the great secret. Acceptance is not about being swept away helplessly. It is the prerequisite for skillful navigation. You cannot steer a boat that is fighting the current. You can only steer a boat that is moving with it. By accepting the flow of the river, the reality of the moment, you reclaim the power to direct your course within that flow. You accept that it is raining, and with the energy you are no longer wasting on wishing it was sunny, you put on a coat or open an umbrella. You accept the feeling of sadness or anger, and with the energy you are no longer wasting on resisting the emotion, you can choose how to respond to it constructively. You accept the reality of a difficult diagnosis, and from that place of clear-eyed acceptance, you can access your full resources to explore your options and make the wisest possible decisions for your health. Acceptance is the "you are here" on the map of your soul. Until you accept precisely where you are, you cannot take a single effective step toward where you want to go. Any action taken from a place of non-acceptance, from a place of resisting reality, will be weak, ineffective, and tainted with the low vibration of struggle. Let us practice with a micro-acceptance right now. Bring your awareness to your body. Notice any physical sensations present. Perhaps there is an ache in your back, a feeling of tiredness in your eyes, a slight tension in your shoulders. The mind's habit is to immediately resist these sensations, to label them bad and wish they were gone. For just a moment, can you drop the argument? Can you allow the sensation to be exactly as it is without needing it to change? Breathe into it. Give it space. This is not about liking the pain. It is about ceasing the secondary layer of suffering that comes from fighting it. Feel the subtle release of energy in your body when you stop the inner war. You have just turned your boat downstream. Now, bring to mind a small annoyance in your life. The traffic on your commute. A habit a loved one has. A recurring technical glitch at work. Feel the familiar energy of resistance that arises when you think of it. The inner no. Now, see if you can apply acceptance. Acknowledge. This is the reality of the situation right now. Drop the mental storyline about how it should be different. You are not saying it's okay or that you will not take action to change it later. You are simply, for this moment, ceasing the futile, energetic struggle with its present moment existence. Feel the freedom in that. Feel the power you have reclaimed. From this calm, accepting space, any action you choose to take will be infinitely more clear, intelligent, and effective. Acceptance is the ultimate act of making peace with the balance sheet of this moment. You look at what is, without flinching and without argument, and you say a profound inner yes. Not a yes of resignation, but a yes of alignment with the power of life itself. When you truly and deeply accept a moment in this way, something miraculous begins to happen. When you stop fighting what is, you finally have the quiet space to truly see what is. When you look at your life without the distorting filter of resistance, you begin to notice things you were blind to before. The subtle beauty in the room, the simple fact of your own breathing, the resilience of your own heart. In this cleared, accepted, and fertile space, a new feeling begins to spontaneously arise. It is the first and most beautiful flower to grow in the soil of acceptance. It is the ultimate expression of saying yes to life, the direct result of aligning with reality. This feeling is gratitude. And as we will soon discover, it is the key to compounding your inner wealth beyond all measure. In the cleared and fertile field of acceptance, where the choking weeds of resistance have been pulled, a flower begins to grow. At first, its growth is tentative, a small green shoot rising from the quiet soil. But it is nourished by the light of your awareness and watered by the peace of your surrender. This flower's name is gratitude, and its blossoming is the sign that your inner economy is shifting from a state of debt to a state of unimaginable wealth. Let us be clear. The gratitude we speak of is not the hollow, conditioned politeness taught in childhood. It is not the mechanical thank you uttered without thought. True gratitude is a visceral, energetic state of being. It is a frequency. It is the profound and soul-shaking feeling of enoughness, blossoming into the feeling of more than enoughness. It is the natural consequence of seeing reality without the distorting filter of your complaints. In the grand economy of the soul, gratitude is the highest yield savings account available to you. It operates on a universal principle that the mystics have always known and that wise investors understand implicitly: the law of compounding interest. Simply put, that which you appreciate, appreciates. The double meaning here is the secret key. When you appreciate something, when you feel genuine gratitude for it, it must, by energetic law, increase in value in your life. The universe, the great banker of energy, sees your genuine deposit of appreciation and immediately adds a dividend of its own. This is the metaphysical mechanism behind the power of gratitude. As we have learned, you are constantly broadcasting a vibrational signal into the universal market. This signal determines what people, circumstances, and experiences you attract into your life. Most people, operating from the ego's perspective of lack, are broadcasting a signal of "I don't have enough." Their focus is on the gap between what they have and what they want. The universe, in its perfect impartiality, receives this signal of not enough and dutifully delivers more experiences of lack and scarcity. Gratitude shatters this entire paradigm. It is one of the highest and most coherent frequencies you can possibly emit. To feel genuine gratitude is to send a powerful, unambiguous signal into the universe that says, I have received, I am cared for, I am wealthy in this moment, my needs are met, I am blessed. The law of resonance, which is as fundamental as gravity, dictates that the universe must, without exception, reflect this powerful signal back to you. It has no choice but to organize itself around your feeling of abundance and deliver more experiences, more circumstances, and more reasons for you to feel grateful. You have placed an order for abundance, and the universe is the flawless delivery service. This is not just esoteric theory, it is practical, energetic finance. A small, consistent deposit of gratitude into your account will, over time, yield results that are exponentially greater than the initial investment. The universe compounds the interest daily. You feel grateful for the single, loyal friend you have, and the universe brings more connection and friendship into your life. You feel grateful for the small amount of money in your bank account, for its ability to buy you food and shelter, and you open the energetic channels for more financial flow. You feel grateful for a moment of health and vitality, and you create the vibrational conditions for more well-being. The ego's mantra is, I will be grateful when I get what I want. The banker's mantra is, I am grateful for what I have, and therefore I attract more of what I want. It completely reverses the creative process from one of desperate seeking to one of joyful receiving. The practice of investing in gratitude is simple, and its power lies in its consistency. The universe does not differentiate between your gratitude for a beautiful sunrise and your gratitude for a major life achievement. It only recognizes the frequency of genuine appreciation. Therefore, you do not have to wait for big things to happen to start building your wealth. You can start right now with micro deposits. Let us make an investment together. Close your eyes if you feel comfortable. Take a slow, calming breath, accessing the peace of your treasury. Now, bring your attention to your own body. Can you feel a flicker of gratitude for your heart, which has been beating tirelessly for you every moment of your life, without a single command from you? It is the faithful drummer of your existence. Make a deposit. Thank you, heart. Can you feel gratitude for your lungs, which draw in the very air that sustains you? A gift from the trees and the oceans. Deposit. Thank you, lungs. Can you feel gratitude for your feet, which have carried you through this world, for your hands that can feel and create? You are living in a miracle of biological engineering. Appreciate it. Now, expand your awareness to your immediate surroundings. Feel gratitude for the chair or bed that is supporting your body, preventing you from falling. It is serving you perfectly in this moment. Feel gratitude for the roof over your head, this simple shelter that protects you from the elements. Billions have lived and died without such a luxury. See it not as a given, but as a gift. Make the deposit. Thank you, shelter. Look around you and let your eyes fall on a single object and appreciate its existence, its color, its form, its function. Let's make another deposit. Recall the simple pleasure of the last good meal you ate, the taste, the nourishment. Feel gratitude for the immense chain of life, the farmers, the drivers, the grocers that brought that food to your table. Recall the feeling of a warm shower, the sound of a piece of music you love, the comfort of a soft blanket. These are not small things. These are the textures of a rich life. Your non-resistance to them through acceptance, combined with your appreciation of them through gratitude, turns your ordinary life into an extraordinary one. Now, for a more advanced practice. Can you find gratitude within a past difficulty? This is not about being grateful for the pain itself, but for the hidden assets you gained from it. Can you feel gratitude for the strength that a past failure forged in you? Can you appreciate the compassion that a past heartbreak opened in your heart? Can you see the wisdom you gained from a mistake? This is the alchemy of a master banker, the ability to find the asset hidden within the liability. This practice seals the past, not as a wound, but as a vital part of your education in wisdom. By making these consistent, small deposits, you begin to shift the entire foundation of your inner economy. You are retraining your mind to scan for what is good, for what is working, for what is a blessing. You move from being a detective of lack to becoming a connoisseur of abundance. This practice, performed for even 5 minutes a day, will begin to compound. You will start to notice more and more things to be grateful for, and the universe will start to show you more and more things to be grateful for. Your energetic signal becomes so powerfully positive that you become a magnet for grace. You have accepted the now. You have appreciated the now. Your vibrational account, once overdrawn and in debt, is now solvent and overflowing with the compounding interest of gratitude. You are in the most powerful, fertile, and creative state a human being can inhabit. This abundant, high-frequency energy is now at your command. But this great wealth, like a mighty river, is not meant to be stagnant. It needs direction. It needs a channel. Your inner bank is now profitable. The next logical step for any wise banker with a surplus of capital is to formulate a clear investment strategy. You must learn to consciously direct this powerful gratitude-infused energy toward a chosen purpose, a specific outcome. You are no longer begging the universe for a handout. You are now a conscious investor, ready to fund your own creations. This is the great and powerful art of setting your intention. You stand now in a position of profound power. Your inner bank, once cluttered with the debts of the past and mortgaged to the fears of the future, has been cleared. Through the practice of acceptance, you have made peace with the present moment. Through the power of gratitude, you have filled your vaults with the highest frequency capital in the universe. Your accounts are overflowing. Your vibrational signature is high, clear, and resonant. You are solvent. You are wealthy. You are now standing in the center of your own creative power, radiating an energy of abundance and well-being. But this immense, potent energy is not meant to be static. Potential without direction is like a river without banks, powerful, yet diffuse and ultimately ineffective. This energy is capital waiting for a project. It is the funding for your highest aspirations. The inner banker, having secured the institution and maximized its assets, now moves into the next phase of their work. They shift from being a manager to being a visionary. They become a conscious investor. This is the moment where we move from receptive gratitude to active creation. This is the moment we learn the sacred and powerful art of setting an intention. Let us be impeccably clear about what an intention is, for it is nothing like a wish. A wish is a passive hope, a lottery ticket bought with the energy of lack. A wish looks at the gap between what is and what is desired and sighs with longing. A wish says, "I hope I get this someday." It is a broadcast of neediness to the universe. An intention is an entirely different animal. An intention is an active, focused command issued from a place of fullness and sovereign power. An intention does not hope, it decides. It does not plead, it declares. It is a clear, unambiguous directive from the CEO of your reality, your conscious self-to the entire staff of the universe. It is the definitive statement that says, "This is what I am now creating. This is where my energy, my attention, and my formidable resources are now flowing." The universe is a master builder, an infinitely intelligent and resourceful contractor, but it cannot and will not begin construction without a blueprint. A vague or conflicted mind provides a smudged, unreadable, contradictory blueprint. The result is a chaotic and unsatisfying life. A clear, focused, and feeling-toned intention is a perfect architectural drawing. When the universe receives such a clear plan, infused with the high-frequency energy of your gratitude and belief, It has no choice but to mobilize all of its resources to bring that plan into physical form. Your intention is the blueprint that commands creation. To draft such a powerful blueprint, we must understand its essential components. The first is absolute clarity. Vague intentions produce vague results. The universe cannot deliver a blurry order. You must know with crystalline precision what it is you choose to create. It is not enough to say, "I want more money." What does that mean? What is the essence you are seeking? Perhaps your true intention is, "I am now living in a state of financial ease and freedom, able to provide generously for myself and my loved ones without stress or worry." It is not enough to say, "I want to be loved." What is the feeling of the partnership you desire? A more powerful intention would be, "I am now in a joyful, loving partnership based on deep mutual respect, authentic communication, and shared spiritual growth." Take the time to distill your desires into a clear, precise, and resonant statement. This clarity itself is a powerful focusing of your energy. The second component is the use of the present tense. This is a crucial key to the metaphysical mechanics of creation. An intention must be stated and felt as if it is already a reality. When you say, "I will be peaceful," you are commanding the universe to keep peace perpetually in your future, always just out of reach. Your vibrational signal is one of future longing, not present reality. But when you declare, "I am peaceful," you align your entire being with the frequency of peace now. You are not asking for it. You are embodying it. You are not chasing it. You are claiming it as your current state. This closes the gap between you and your desire. In the quantum field, where all possibilities exist, you are collapsing the wave of potential peace into the particle of your present experience by declaring it so. This leads to the third and most vital component, the secret ingredient that breathes life into your blueprint: feeling. An intention stated with the mind alone is a dead letter. It is an architectural drawing with no electricity, no plumbing, no life. The feeling you generate is the energy that fuels the entire creative process. You must feel the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Do not just think about your intention. Step into it. In your imagination, live in the reality where your intention is manifest. What does it feel like? What is the dominant emotional signature of that reality? Sit with this question. If your intention is a new creative career, what does it feel like to wake up every day excited to do your work? Feel that excitement in your chest now. If your intention is vibrant health, what does it feel like to move your body with ease, energy, and strength? Inhabit that feeling of vitality in your cells right now. This feeling, be it relief, joy, gratitude, security, or freedoms, the vibrational currency that the universe recognizes. It is the powerful magnetic signal that draws the physical manifestation to you. The thought is the blueprint, the feeling is the magnet. And finally, the most powerful intentions are cleansed of egoic grasping by aligning them with the greater good. By adding the simple phrase, "this or something better, for the highest good of all concerned," you elevate your intention. You are signaling to the universe that you are open to even greater possibilities than your limited mind can imagine, and that you desire your creations to be a blessing not just to you, but to the world. This releases resistance and allows the universe to deliver your desire in the most harmonious and magical way possible. With this understanding, it is equally important to recognize the common pitfalls, the subtle ways the ego sabotages your investment strategy. The first is the how trap. Your job as the banker is to define the what and the why. The how is the exclusive domain of the universe, the master contractor. The moment you begin to obsess over and micromanage how your intention will come to pass, you are operating from the limited, fearful mind of the ego. You are telling the infinite intelligence of the cosmos that you know better. This constricts the flow, closes off unexpected pathways and introduces the low-frequency energy of doubt and control. Your task is to hold the vision and the feeling, and then to allow the how to unfold, often in ways more wonderful than you could have ever planned. Another common pitfall is holding contradictory intentions. You cannot set a clear intention for joyful abundance while simultaneously holding a deep-seated, unconscious belief that you are unworthy of it, or that wealthy people are inherently greedy. This is like driving a car with one foot pressed firmly on the accelerator and the other slammed on the brake. You will burn a tremendous amount of energy and go nowhere. This is why our previous work of clearing debts and forgiving the past is so critical. A powerful intention requires an inner world that is in alignment with it. Perhaps the most common trap is impatience, the constant need to check on the seed. You have drafted your blueprint. You have submitted it to the contractor with the full force of your feeling and belief. The work has begun on unseen levels. The great error is to then go out every day and dig up the seed to see if it's growing. Every act of checking, every moment of doubt, every thought of why isn't it here yet, is a communication to the universe that you don't believe it's coming. It is an act of distrust that cancels out your original order. Impatience is a form of fear, and its low vibration neutralizes the high vibration of your intention. You must plant the seed, water it with your faith and feeling, and then let it be. Trust the process. This leads to the ultimate paradox of conscious creation. You must desire your intention with your whole heart, while simultaneously being completely detached from whether or not it manifests in the exact way or time frame you want. Your happiness cannot be contingent on the outcome. Your baseline state must be the peace and fullness you have already cultivated through acceptance and gratitude. The manifestation is simply a bonus, a delightful play of form. When you want something from a place of neediness, you repel it. When you intend something from a place of wholeness, you become a magnet for it. The setting of an intention, then, becomes a sacred practice. You can write it down, speak it aloud in a quiet moment, meditate upon it, not with striving, but by joyfully inhabiting its feeling state. Make it a clear and beautiful moment between you and the universe. And then, and this is the final crucial step, you must release it. You must let it go. You hand the blueprint over to the master builder with a feeling of absolute trust. You release your white-knuckled grip on it and go about your day, living in the joyful gratitude of your already abundant present moment. You have now drafted and submitted your grand investment strategy to the universal market. The blueprint is with the builder, but the construction of your desired reality is not a passive process. It requires your daily, moment-to-moment cooperation. Every day, you are sending hundreds, if not thousands, of small memos and work orders to the construction site. These memos are your thoughts. These work orders are your spoken words. The pressing question we must now ask is this: are these daily transactions in alignment with your master plan, or are they constantly confusing the builders, contradicting the blueprint, and sabotaging the entire project? To ensure our creation is built swiftly and beautifully, we must now become masters of the small daily paperwork of the soul. We must turn our attention to the very currency of our minds, our words and thoughts. These are the transaction slips of reality. The blueprint is on the table. Your grand investment strategy, the powerful, feeling-toned intention for the reality you choose to create, has been submitted to the universal market. The capital of your gratitude has funded the project. The high-frequency signal has been sent. A sense of peace and hopeful expectation settles in. But a blueprint on its own does not build a skyscraper. A business plan does not magically generate revenue. The construction of your new reality is an active daily process, funded and directed by thousands of small, seemingly insignificant transactions that you conduct, moment by moment. We must now turn our attention to the daily paperwork of creation, the moment-to-moment currency of your inner bank. Every single thought that crosses the screen of your mind is a signed check. Every word that passes your lips is a finalized wire transfer. You are the sole signatory on this vast and busy account, and you are conducting business with the universe, non-stop, 24 hours a day, even in your dreams. Scientists estimate that you have tens of thousands of thoughts each day. Imagine that. Tens of thousands of individual financial transactions. Each one is an instruction. Each one moves energy. Each one is either a deposit into the account of your great intention, or it is a withdrawal from it. Are your daily transactions funding your dreams, or are they bankrupting them before construction can even begin? Let us examine the two sides of this universal ledger. On one side, you have deposits. These are the thoughts and words that are in perfect alignment with your master blueprint. Let's say your intention is to create a reality of vibrant health and energy. A thought like, "I am grateful for the strength in my body today," is a deposit. A choice to eat nourishing food, accompanied by the thought, "I am fueling my body with life," is a major deposit. When you feel tired and choose to think, "My body is wisely signaling its need for rest, and I will honor it," you have just made a significant investment in the account of self-respect and well-being. These transactions send a coherent message to the construction crew of the universe. Yes, more of this. The project is a go. Keep building. On the other side of the ledger, you have the withdrawals. These are the thousands of small, often unconscious transactions that directly contradict and sabotage your grand intention. With the same intention for vibrant health, you look in the mirror and think, "I look so old and tired." You have just authorized a withdrawal. You stub your toe and mutter, "My body is so clumsy, it always betrays me." You have just signed a check over to the account of sickness and frailty. A friend cancels plans, and you spend an hour complaining to another friend about it. That entire hour is a massive withdrawal from your peace account and a huge deposit into your victimhood and frustration accounts. The ego, your old rogue advisor, specializes in these subtle, self-sabotaging withdrawals. Its favorite transactions are worry, criticism, judgment, complaint, and gossip. Each one of these mental and verbal habits is a leak in your financial reserves. One negative thought is just one thought, but one negative thought repeated every day for a year becomes a core belief. It is a small, automatic daily withdrawal that eventually drains the entire account, making the fulfillment of your grand intention an energetic impossibility. You cannot build a temple of peace with the daily paperwork of anxiety. You cannot fund a project of abundance with the daily transactions of lack. The universe is confused by your contradictory orders. The blueprint says palace, but the daily work orders all say shack. And the universe, in its impartiality, can only build based on the most consistent and frequent instructions it receives. While your thoughts are the drafts of these transactions, your spoken words are the finalized, notarized, and executed orders. A thought has potent energy, but it remains primarily in your inner world. The moment you give a thought voice, the moment you speak it aloud, you have crystallized it into the physical realm. You have vibrated it through the air. You have commanded the atoms to arrange themselves around your declaration. You have hit confirm on the wire transfer. This is why all ancient traditions have held the spoken word to be sacred. Your words are incantations, whether you know it or not. You are constantly casting spells upon your own life. The question is, are they spells of empowerment or spells of limitation? Pay special attention to the two most powerful creative words in the human language. I am. Whatever follows these two words is a direct command to your subconscious mind and to the universe. It is a declaration of being. When you say casually, "I am so stressed," You are not merely describing a feeling, you are commanding your reality. You are instructing your cells to produce stress hormones. You are instructing the universal market to bring you more stressful situations. When you say, "I am broke," you are casting a spell of poverty. When you say, "I am always so unlucky," you are signing a perpetual contract for misfortune. The wise inner banker becomes exquisitely mindful of what they attach to their I amness. They withdraw their energy from casual, negative declarations. They begin to consciously use these powerful words to align with their intention. I am capable. I am resourceful. I am surrounded by love and support. I am a vessel of peace. At first, this may feel like a lie if your external circumstances do not yet match. But it is not a lie. It is a declaration of a deeper truth. It is a command for the lesser reality of circumstance to rise up and match the greater reality of your chosen state of being. You are not describing what is. You are commanding what is to be. Hearing all this, you may feel a sense of panic. How can I possibly monitor 60,000 thoughts a day? How can I police every word I speak? This seems impossible. This feeling is understandable, but the task is not as daunting as it seems. The good news is, you don't have to consciously track every single transaction. Your emotional state is your instant, real-time bank statement. It tells you everything you need to know. If you are feeling good, peaceful, joyful, expansive, grateful, you know that your recent transactions have been positive. You have been making deposits. If you are feeling bad, anxious, angry, resentful, fearful, you know with absolute certainty that you have been writing checks from the wrong accounts. Your feelings are the infallible summary of your mental and verbal activity. You don't need to analyze the thousands of transactions. You just need to read the balance summary. So the task is not to become a ruthless thought policeman, an inner critic who judges every thought, for that is just another form of resistance and a waste of energy. The task is to hire a wise, calm, and utterly neutral internal auditor. This auditor's only job is to watch the transactions as they fly by, to notice the patterns of thought and speech without getting entangled in them, and to create a pristine space of awareness. In that space of awareness, you can begin to consciously choose which transactions you authorize and which ones you simply allow to pass by, unsigned. To build the life that matches your highest intention, you must first cultivate the most essential skill of the master banker, the faculty of the non-judgmental observer. We have now arrived at the central discipline of the inner banker. We have seen the torrent of daily transactions, the 60,000 thoughts, and the countless words that shape our reality. We have understood that these transactions either fund our highest intentions or bankrupt them. The natural response to this revelation can be a kind of panic, a desire to control, to police, to wrestle this chaos into submission. But this desire to control is just another thought, another frantic transaction signed by the ego. This is because you have been trying to solve the problem from the wrong position. You have been identified with the frantic clerk on the trading floor, trying to shout over the noise. It is time to stop being the clerk. It is time to assume the quiet, powerful, and elevated position of the internal auditor. The root of all inner chaos is the state of identification. For the unawakened mind, there is no separation between the self and the stream of thinking. When a thought of anger arises in the mind, the person does not experience it as an objective event. They do not think, "Ah, a thought of anger has appeared." They think, "I am angry." They become the anger. When a wave of sadness washes through them, they do not see it as a passing energetic weather pattern. They declare, "I am sad." They have completely fused their identity with the transient emotion. This is the state of total identification. It is like being a dreamer who doesn't know they are dreaming, believing the nightmare to be the only reality. It is like a security guard who, upon seeing a bank robber on the security monitor, believes he himself is the bank robber, and begins to act out the crime. This is the madness in which most people live their entire lives, tossed about on the waves of their own unobserved mental and emotional states. The path to freedom, to true solvency, is not found in changing the thoughts or suppressing the emotions. It is found in changing your relationship to them. The great liberation is the discovery of a different dimension within you, a dimension that was here all along, unnoticed. This is the dimension of still, silent, witnessing presence. It is the part of you that is aware of the anger, but is not the anger itself. It is the part of you that knows you are feeling sad, but is not the sadness. This is your internal auditor. This is the non-judgmental observer. This, in truth, is the real you. The rest is just weather passing through. To cultivate this observer is the most essential skill you can develop. Let us be clear about the qualities of this internal auditor. This auditor is not a critic. It does not carry a red pen to mark your errors and rap your knuckles. It does not come with a heavy book of rules to judge you against. Its nature is profoundly different. The non-judgmental observer carries only two things: a gentle, illuminating lamp and a silent clipboard. Its sole function is to notice, to witness, to illuminate what is happening in your inner world without condemnation, without interference, and without commentary. It is utterly neutral, impersonal, and yet profoundly loving, because its silent presence is the very essence of peace. The core practice is the creation of inner space. You must learn, through practice, to create a separation between the thinker and the awareness of the thinker. Imagine your mind is the sky, your thoughts and emotions are the clouds. For your whole life, you have believed you are a cloud, drifting, colliding, storming, and dissipating. The Great Awakening is the realization that you are not the cloud. You are the vast, silent, benevolent sky in which all clouds, dark and light, are allowed to appear and pass. The sky does not cling to the beautiful, fluffy white clouds. It does not resist the dark, heavy storm clouds. It provides the space for all of it to be. Its own nature remains untouched, serene, and unchanged. To find the observer is to realize you are the sky, not the weather. Let us try to find this observer, this sky-like awareness, right now. Close your eyes for a moment. A thought will likely appear in your mind. It might be, "What am I supposed to be doing?" Or, "This is interesting." Or a memory from yesterday. Whatever the thought is, let it be there. Now, see if you can take one step back from it, metaphorically. Ask yourself this simple question: who is it that is aware of this thought? Don't try to answer with a thought. Simply look for the knowing presence itself, the part of you that knows you are thinking, that silent background awareness. That is the observer. It has no form. It has no name. It is the light of consciousness itself. See if you can rest your attention there, in that silent knowing, rather than in the noisy thought it is aware of. This is your true position. This is the auditor's office. From this office, you can begin to observe all the activity of the bank with a newfound clarity and peace. Let's start with your thoughts. Sit for a moment and simply watch the thoughts that arise in your mind, as if you were sitting on a riverbank watching leaves float by. Do not try to stop the river. Do not try to grab onto any particular leaf. Simply watch them come and go. You might even label them gently in your mind as they pass, planning, worrying, judging, remembering. This labeling helps you to disidentify from the content. You are not the worry. You are the one who is observing the worrying. This practice, over time, untangles you from the powerful grip of compulsive thinking. The thoughts begin to lose their power over you because you see them for what they are: transient, impersonal, energetic events. Next, you can apply this skill to your emotions, which are often more challenging because they have a powerful physical component. When an emotion like anxiety arises, The usual reaction is to either be consumed by it or to resist it frantically. The observer does neither. It brings its gentle, illuminating lamp to the experience. From the auditor's chair, you ask, "Where do I feel this anxiety in my body?" Drop the mental label of anxiety and the story that goes with it, and explore the raw physical sensation. Is it a buzzing vibration in your chest, a tightness in your stomach, a coldness in your hands? By observing the emotion as a pure energy pattern in the body, stripped of its story, you can simply be with it. You breathe into the sensation. You allow it to be there. You are not afraid of it, because you know that you are the vast, safe space in which the sensation is happening. And when you can observe an emotion without resistance, you allow its energy to move through you and complete its cycle, rather than getting stuck in your body as an emotional debt. As you become more adept at watching your thoughts, you will begin to notice something miraculous: the spaces between them. In the stream of thinking, there are tiny gaps, moments of pure, thought-free silence. These gaps are your direct doorways into the treasury of silence. At first, they may be fleeting, but as you practice observation, they will become longer and more frequent. Resting your attention in these gaps is one of the most profound and restorative forms of meditation. It is returning home. The true power of the internal auditor is realized when you bring this skill into your daily life. When someone says something provocative to you, the unobserved mind reacts instantly. The thought, "How dare they?" arises and immediately translates into a sharp word or a defensive posture. The entire transaction takes a fraction of a second, but for the one who has cultivated the observer, a space is created. The provocative comment is heard. The observer then notices the flash of anger arising in the body and mind. It simply notes, anger is here. In that split-second gap created by the act of observation, you have a choice. You are no longer a puppet of your reaction. You can choose to breathe. You can choose to remain silent. You can choose to respond calmly and wisely. This space, this moment of choice between stimulus and response, is the birthplace of all freedom and all wisdom. The sustained practice of non-judgmental observation fundamentally rewires your inner world. The auditor's final report is simple. The chaos is an illusion created by identification with transient phenomena. The result of accepting this report is a deep and abiding peace that is not dependent on external circumstances. You are no longer a ship tossed on the waves. You are the deep, calm ocean beneath. And in the profound quiet that this practice cultivates, something extraordinary occurs. As you abide more and more in this silent, observing presence, you naturally detach from the noisy, repetitive, and unoriginal chatter of your conditioned mind. That chatter is the voice of your past, your conditioning, your fears. In the vast creative stillness that opens up when the chatter subsides, something new can finally emerge. You have created a pristine, silent field of pure potential, free from the static of the past. It is from this silence, this sacred void you have so patiently cultivated, that all true originality, all genius, and all divine inspiration is born. You have quieted the frantic clerk and the critical accountant. The trading floor is silent. The banker is now sitting peacefully in their office, steeped in the silence of pure awareness. What happens in this silence? This is where the bank designs its most innovative and valuable products. This is where true wealth is generated. You are now ready to access the most magical and precious asset in your entire portfolio, an asset that was buried deep beneath the noise of your mind all along. You are ready to discover your own infinite wellspring of creativity, your hidden gold reserve. Having established the quiet, potent presence of the non-judgmental observer, you have fundamentally altered the atmosphere of your inner bank. The frantic, chaotic noise of the trading floor has subsided. The incessant chatter of the ego has been seen for what it is, a transient weather pattern, not the sky itself. In this profound stillness that you have cultivated, a stillness born of awareness and acceptance, you begin to sense something new. Beneath the silence, there is not a void, but a low, powerful hum. It is the hum of a vast, untapped power source, like a great generator deep in the bedrock of your being. You have stumbled upon a hidden vault, one whose existence you had long forgotten. This is the vault of your creativity. Our culture has sold you a profound and disempowering lie about creativity. It has packaged it as a rare and precious commodity, a magical talent bestowed upon a chosen few. The painter, the musician, the poet, the visionary genius. It has taught you to stand on the outside looking in, to be a consumer of creativity rather than a conduit of it. This is perhaps the greatest theft ever perpetrated upon the human spirit. The truth is that creativity is not a rare talent. It is the fundamental, innate, and universal impulse of life itself, seeking to express, to expand, to solve, and to become. It is the same force that pushes a seed through the hard soil, that arranges planets into graceful orbits, that inspires a bird to build its intricate nest. This force is not external to you. It is your very essence. You were born with it. It is your divine inheritance. Within your inner bank, beneath even the treasury of silence, lies this vast and inexhaustible gold reserve. It is your innate potential to bring something new into the world, whether that something is a symphony, a garden, a more compassionate way of listening, an elegant solution to a business problem, or a well-cooked meal. This reserve cannot be earned, and it cannot be lost. It can only be forgotten. And for most of us, it has been forgotten, buried deep beneath layers of conditioning, fear, and self-doubt. Why does this infinite wealth remain hidden? The primary reason is the incessant noise of the conditioned mind. The ego, your old advisor, is a creature of repetition. It knows only the past. It lives by replaying old stories, old fears, old limitations. True creativity, by its very nature, is original. It is the birth of the new, the unexpected. The egoic mind, therefore, is fundamentally anti-creative. Its constant chatter, its judgments and analyses, creates a layer of dense sonic rock that blocks the entrance to the creative vault. You cannot hear the subtle whispers of inspiration when your mind is screaming with the noise of its own importance. Beneath this layer of noise lies a second security door, the fear of judgment. The moment a fragile new impulse begins to emerge from the silent vault, the ego attacks it with ferocious efficiency. That's a stupid idea. You're not good enough to do that. Someone else has already done it better. People will laugh at you. You don't have the talent. The ego fears the new because it cannot categorize or control it. It feels threatened by the authentic, unconditioned impulse of the creative self. And so, it polices the door to the vault, acting as a brutal inner critic, ensuring that most of your golden ideas die in the darkness before they ever have a chance to see the light of day. The final lock on the vault door is the story you tell yourself, the belief that I am not a creative person. This belief is the most powerful cage ever built, for its bars are forged from your own conviction. To say I am not creative is like a billionaire declaring I am broke, simply because they have forgotten the combination to their own vault. The wealth is still there, untouched, immense, and waiting. Your belief is the only thing preventing you from accessing it. So, how do we open this vault? How do we reclaim our birthright? The first key is the very skill you have just been cultivating, the silent, non-judgmental awareness. Creativity is not born of frantic thinking. It is born of spacious stillness. The more you practice simply observing your mind, the more you create the inner quiet necessary for the subtle voice of inspiration to be heard. You must create a clearing in the forest of your thoughts for the new seedling to grow. Silence is the key that opens the first door. The second key is a shift in attitude, from one of striving and seriousness to one of curiosity and play. The ego takes everything seriously. The creative spirit, the inner banker in their visionary mode, is playful. You must approach your life and your potential with a sense of, I wonder. Wonder is the access code that bypasses the inner critic. I wonder what would happen if I tried painting just for fun. I wonder what a new solution to this problem could look like. I wonder what a truly joyful day would feel like. Play is the process of mining the gold. Engage in small, no-stakes creative acts. Doodle without purpose. Write a silly poem for yourself. Hum a new melody. Try a new route home from work. The goal is not to create a masterpiece. The goal is to reconnect with the joy of the creative process itself, to remember what it feels like to be a conduit for new energy. As you sit in the silence and play with wonder, you will begin to receive impulses from the gold reserve. An idea, an image, a line of melody, a sudden insight. This is the raw gold. But raw gold, sitting in a vault, is not yet currency. It must be minted. To mint your creative gold is to take the formless impulse and give it form, no matter how small. An idea for a book is raw gold. Writing the first sentence is minting your first coin. An inspiration to start a new business is raw gold. Doing 1 hour of research online is minting your first coin. A desire to be a more loving person is raw gold. Offering one genuine, unsolicited compliment to someone is minting your first coin. Do not feel that you must immediately produce a giant, heavy gold bar. The practice is to get comfortable with the simple daily act of minting small, beautiful coins. Take the impulse and take one tiny, physical action on it. This honors the creative flow and tells the universe you are open for more business. This gold reserve is not just for creating art, it is for creating your life. When you are faced with a challenge or a problem that seems insurmountable, the egoic mind will panic and cycle through the same old, failed solutions. The wise inner banker takes a different approach. You go to the vault, you sit in silence, you breathe, you quiet the frantic mind, and you ask the creative intelligence within you for a new way. Show me a solution I haven't seen before. You then release the question into the silence and trust. An insight, an unexpected idea, a new perspective will emerge. This is you minting a solution. You are using your infinite inner wealth to solve the perceived poverty of your outer circumstances. You have now discovered the hidden gold reserve at the core of your being. You have learned that the keys to access it are silence and play. You have begun the practice of minting this formless gold into the tangible coins of your life. But the nature of this particular gold is magical, for it operates on a divine principle. The more of it you spend, the more of it you find you have. The more ideas you express, the more ideas flow to you. The more love you create, the more love you feel. Unlike material wealth, this spiritual gold multiplies through distribution. Hoarding it causes it to stagnate. The mine only becomes more productive when its precious metals are put into circulation. To keep the flow of creativity alive, expanding, and ever renewing, you must learn to share your minted coins with the world. This brings us to the fundamental law of all energetic economics, the sacred rhythm that keeps the universe in a state of dynamic and abundant balance, the law of giving and receiving. You have discovered the infinite gold reserve of creativity that lies dormant within you. Through silence and play, you have begun to access this wealth, minting the raw gold of inspiration into the tangible coins of new ideas, new solutions, and new expressions of joy. You have become a producer of inner riches. But this spiritual gold is not like the dead, hoarded treasure of a dragon in a cave. It is living currency, and the nature of all life, All energy, all currency is to flow. To keep this golden river from turning into a stagnant swamp, you must now understand the most fundamental principle of universal economics, the sacred rhythm that keeps the cosmos in a state of dynamic and abundant balance. This is the law of giving and receiving. Look to nature, for it is the greatest teacher of this law. The sun gives its light freely, and the earth receives it to create life. The earth gives forth plants and trees, which receive the sun's energy. The trees receive our exhalation, our carbon dioxide, and in return, they give us the very oxygen we breathe. The ocean receives the waters of 1,000 rivers, and in a great, generous exhalation, it gives back the rain that nourishes the land. The universe is not a static storehouse, it is a divine, circulatory system. Stagnation is death, flow is life. A bank that only takes in deposits but never lends or invests is a useless, dead institution. A bank that only gives out loans but has no deposits will quickly go bankrupt. The health, the wealth, the very existence of the bank depends on the constant, balanced circulation of its currency. Your own body is the most intimate and perfect model of this law. You are living it in this very moment. With your next breath, inhale, that is receiving. You are taking in the gift of life, the oxygen that nourishes every cell in your body. Now, you must exhale. You must give back. You must release what is no longer needed. You cannot only inhale. To do so would be to burst, to die from holding on. You cannot only exhale. To do so would be to waste away, to die from a lack of receiving. To live is to participate fully in this sacred rhythm. Receive, release, receive, release. This is the pulse of the cosmos, and your breath is its humble, constant reminder. The ego, in its deep-seated fear, fights this natural law. It creates two great blockages that dam the river of abundance and create the very poverty it fears. The first blockage is the refusal to give. This comes from the ego's core belief in scarcity. The ego believes there is a finite pie, that life is a zero-sum game. It believes that if it gives away its time, its money, its love, or its ideas, it will have less for itself. It operates from a clenched fist mentality. It hoards its assets, terrified of lack. But in doing so, it creates the very condition it dreads. By refusing to give, it signals to the universe that it is poor, that it doesn't have enough. It dams the flow, and its world becomes a stagnant pond of its own hoarded resources, with nothing new flowing in. To keep the universal river flowing to you, you must be willing to let it flow through you. The second blockage is more subtle but equally damaging, the refusal to receive. This comes from an egoic sense of unworthiness, or a false sense of pride that desires not to be indebted to anyone. How do you respond when someone offers you a genuine, heartfelt compliment? Do you deflect it, minimize it, or argue with it? Oh, this old thing? It was nothing, really. When someone offers to help you, is your first impulse to say, "No, no, I'm fine," even when you are struggling? When someone gives you a gift, do you feel a sense of unease or obligation? Each of these reactions is a refusal to receive. You are standing by the river of abundance, and when the universe offers you a cup of water, you are turning it away. In doing so, you are breaking the circuit. You are dishonoring the giver, and you are sending a powerful message to the universe. I am not worthy of receiving. Do not send gifts to this address. A bank that refuses all deposits will soon find itself with nothing in its vaults. To be a gracious receiver is as spiritually important as to be a generous giver. The work of the inner banker is to become a conscious channel for this flow, to keep the books balanced. This begins with conscious giving. This is not about dutifully writing a check to charity from a sense of obligation. It is about the energy behind the act. You can give in countless ways every single day. Give your full, undivided presence to the person you are speaking with. This is one of the most precious gifts you can offer. Give a genuine smile to a stranger. Give a word of encouragement to someone who is struggling. Give your appreciation and praise freely. Give help when you are able, and do so from a place of joy, not for recognition. You must understand that you are not losing anything. Nature abhors a vacuum. When you give freely, you are creating an energetic space, a void that the universe must rush to fill, often from completely unexpected sources. You are priming the pump. You are telling the universe, I am a source of abundance. I have more than enough to share. Equally important is the practice of gracious receiving. The next time someone pays you a compliment, resist the urge to deflect. Simply breathe it in, look them in the eye, smile, and say a simple, clean, thank you. Feel the energy of their gift entering your heart. When someone offers you help, receive it with gratitude. In doing so, you give them the gift of being able to give. You honor their generosity, and you complete the sacred circuit. By receiving gracefully, you affirm to the universe your own worthiness to be blessed. You are saying, yes, thank you. More of this, please. You are keeping your own vaults open to deposits from all sources. Take a moment now to do a quick audit of your own energetic books. In your life, do you tend to be a compulsive giver, constantly pouring out your energy until you feel drained and resentful, yet unable to ask for or receive help? Or do you tend to be a blocked receiver, proud and self-sufficient, yet feeling isolated and subtly disconnected from the flow of life? The goal is not to be a giver or a taker, for these are labels of the ego. The goal is to be a conscious conduit, a balanced channel through which the abundance of the universe can flow, in and out, in a beautiful, healthy, and life-affirming rhythm. You realize that you are not an isolated financial entity. You are an essential branch of the great universal bank, and your own prosperity and health are inseparable from your active participation in the full circulation of its infinite wealth. Nowhere is this law of energetic circulation more immediate, more palpable, and more consequential than in our interactions with other human beings. Every relationship you have with a partner, a child, a colleague, a friend is a dynamic field of energetic exchange, a constant flow of giving and receiving. Are these relationships profitable investments that yield dividends of joy, growth, and mutual support? Or are they toxic assets, unbalanced accounts that are constantly draining your resources and leaving you in a state of energetic debt? To truly master the art of the inner banker, you must become a wise and discerning investor in the most important and high-stakes portfolio you will ever manage, the portfolio of your relationships. We have now established the great universal principle of flow, the sacred circulatory rhythm of giving and receiving that governs all of life. This law is not an abstract concept. It is a living reality that finds its most immediate, most potent, and often most challenging expression on the trading floor of our human connections. Every relationship you have is an economy. Every interaction is a transaction. Your network of relationships is not a chaotic collection of random encounters. It is a complex and dynamic investment portfolio. As the sovereign inner banker, it is your fiduciary duty to the well-being of your soul to conduct a thorough and honest review of this portfolio, to assess its performance, and to make wise decisions for the health of your overall energetic enterprise. The currency exchanged on this relationship stock market is far more precious than money. The true currencies of the heart are attention, time, emotional energy, support, vulnerability, respect, and peace. With every interaction, you are either making a deposit into or a withdrawal from another person's account, and they are doing the same to yours. A healthy relationship is one where the flow is largely balanced and reciprocal, where both parties feel that their investment yields a positive return. An unhealthy relationship is an unbalanced account, a bad investment that consistently drains your resources and leaves you feeling energetically impoverished. It is time to take out your energetic ledger and analyze your asset allocation. Let us categorize the relationships in your portfolio to gain clarity on their true function in your life. The first category is your blue chip stocks. These are the bedrock assets of your portfolio. These are the stable, reliable, high-performing relationships founded on a deep, unshakable foundation of mutual respect, trust, and reciprocity. These are the friends, family members, or partners who celebrate your wins with genuine joy, who offer a compassionate and non-judgmental ear for your struggles, and whose presence simply feels like coming home. They may not always offer the dramatic highs of a volatile new romance, but their consistency is their wealth. They provide steady, reliable dividends of peace, support, and laughter. These relationships are your safe harbor in a storm. They affirm your worth. They see your light and reflect it back to you. An investment of your time and energy here is always a wise one. Who are the blue chip stocks in your life? Acknowledge them with gratitude. They are your true treasures. The second category is your growth stocks. These can be some of the most valuable and also most confusing assets in your portfolio. These are the relationships that challenge you. They are the people who, by their very nature, push your buttons, trigger your unhealed wounds, and force you to grow beyond your comfort zone. This could be a demanding boss who forces you to develop new skills, a child whose behavior challenges your patience, or a partner whose different perspective constantly forces you to question your own assumptions. These relationships can feel volatile and uncomfortable. The ego will often label them as difficult or bad, but the wise inner banker looks deeper. You must ask the crucial question, is this challenging relationship forcing me to become a better, stronger, more conscious version of myself? Or is it simply diminishing me? A true growth stock, though uncomfortable, leads to an expansion of your wisdom, compassion, and resilience. The long-term return on investment is immense. However, it requires careful analysis to distinguish a genuine growth opportunity from a fundamentally flawed company. This brings us to our third category, the junk bonds. These are the toxic assets. These are the investments that your old rogue advisor, the ego, often loved because they offered a quick, high yield of drama, validation, or a sense of superiority. But they are fundamentally bankrupt. These are the relationships based on criticism, manipulation, gossip, envy, or constant negativity. This is the friend who only calls to complain, leaving you feeling drained and heavy. This is the family member who subtly belittles your accomplishments. This is the partner who thrives on conflict and emotional chaos. These relationships consistently operate at a low frequency. They are a black hole for your energy. Spending your precious attention here is like pouring your gold into a company you know is being investigated for fraud. No matter how much you invest, you will never get a positive return. The only outcome is a loss. A wise banker does not hold on to junk bonds out of misplaced loyalty or a fear of letting go. A wise banker recognizes a toxic asset and divests. Finally, we have the category of bad loans. This is a unique and insidious type of liability. In this scenario, you are the sole investor. You are constantly giving your energy, support, love, time, and resources to someone who offers little or no return. You listen to their problems for hours, but they have no time for yours. You offer them encouragement, but they offer you criticism. You are not in a relationship. You are in a state of perpetual, unreciprocated charity. You have extended an energetic loan to someone who has no intention or capacity to ever pay it back. The ego can get a sense of worthiness from this, the role of the good person, the savior. But the inner banker sees the truth. This is not a healthy investment. It is a drain on your resources that prevents you from investing in your blue-chip assets or even in yourself. Take a moment now. In the quiet office of your mind, pull up your portfolio. List the key people in your life. Next to each name, be radically, ruthlessly honest with yourself, not with judgment, but with the cool clarity of a financial analyst. Does an interaction with this person generally leave you feeling energized, seen, and uplifted? Or does it leave you feeling drained, unseen, and diminished? Does this asset lift the overall value of your life, or does it weigh you down? Once your analysis is complete, the work of the banker begins. This is the phase of portfolio rebalancing. The first and most joyful step is to increase your position in your blue-chip stocks. Actively choose to invest more of your time, your presence, and your most precious attention in the relationships that already nourish you. Call that friend who always makes you laugh. Schedule a long, uninterrupted dinner with your supportive partner. Write a letter of gratitude to the mentor who believes in you. What you appreciate, appreciates. By investing in these assets, you create more joy, support, and stability in your life. Next, you manage your growth stocks with discernment. Approach these challenging relationships as a spiritual practice. When you are triggered, instead of reacting, get curious. Ask, what is this situation here to teach me? What unhealed part of me is being activated? Invest your presence and your willingness to learn. However, if you determine that the relationship is not leading to growth, but only to repeated pain with no evolution, it may be time to reclassify it as a junk bond. Now we come to the courageous work, the art of divine divestment. You must sell your shares in the junk bonds. You must release the toxic assets from your life. This is not an act of cruelty or anger. It is an act of profound self-respect and energetic hygiene. It is your fiduciary responsibility to your own soul. Divestment does not have to be a dramatic, explosive confrontation. It can be a quiet and gradual withdrawal of your energy. You stop making the deposits of your attention. You become less available for the drama. You don't answer every call. You lovingly, firmly, and quietly sell your shares by reclaiming your energy for healthier investments. You are not pushing them away. You are simply choosing to walk toward what nourishes you. And you must lovingly recall your bad loans. This requires the cultivation of strong, clear boundaries. It means learning to say no without guilt. It means realizing that your value does not come from being endlessly useful to others at your own expense. It means foreclosing on the loan, not with anger, but with the quiet finality of a banker closing an unprofitable account. You can wish them well from afar, but you can no longer fund their deficit with your own life force. As you perform this rebalancing, you will discover the ultimate truth of this portfolio. Its performance, its health, and its wealth are all a direct reflection of one cornerstone investment, the one that determines the value of all others: your relationship with yourself. If you treat yourself as a toxic asset filled with self-criticism and neglect, you will unconsciously seek out relationships that reflect that inner state. If you are constantly making withdrawals from your own account of self-worth, you will tolerate others doing the same. Conversely, if you invest in yourself, if you treat yourself like a precious blue-chip stock offering yourself kindness, rest, and respect, you naturally become the kind of high-value asset that attracts other healthy, high-value investors. You do not attract what you want in a relationship, you attract what you are. This ultimate investment in yourself, this primary act of becoming a blue-chip asset, begins with the most fundamental and inescapable relationship of all. It is the one relationship you are guaranteed to have from your first breath to your very last. It is the intimate, moment-to-moment connection between your conscious awareness and the physical vessel that carries it through this world. Before you can truly master your external energetic exchanges, you must first become a wise and loving steward of your innermost temple. We must now turn our attention from the outer portfolio to the physical vault where all your spiritual and energetic treasures are held, your body. We have audited the complex, dynamic portfolio of our external relationships, learning to invest our energy wisely and divest from what drains us. We have seen how our connections with others are a mirror of the law of giving and receiving. But all these external exchanges, all these interactions with the world, are mediated through the one relationship that is most intimate, most constant, and most profound. It is the relationship you have from your first breath to your last, the one between your conscious awareness and the sacred physical earth suit you inhabit. We must now turn our focus inward to the very headquarters of your entire enterprise, the living temple that houses your spirit. We must speak of your body. For centuries, you have been taught a lie, a deep and damaging schism that has been the source of immense human suffering. You have been taught that your mind or spirit is a pure, elevated thing, and your body is something other, a dense, problematic beast to be tamed, a source of base temptation to be overcome, or at best, a machine to be utilized, a disposable vehicle for the precious cargo of your consciousness. This false dichotomy, this war between spirit and matter, has led you to treat your own body as an object, a stranger, or even an enemy. The inner banker knows this is a catastrophic misunderstanding of your own nature. Your body is not a separate, lesser vehicle. It is the living, breathing, miraculously intelligent physical vault that holds the entirety of your spiritual and energetic wealth. It is the tangible manifestation of your spirit in this dimension. It is the holy temple in which the quiet observer, your true self, resides. You would not store priceless gold and irreplaceable art in a leaky, crumbling, insecure shed exposed to the elements. You would build a vault of the finest materials. You would maintain its structure. You would polish its surfaces. You would ensure its security systems were flawless. Why then would you house your infinite, eternal spirit in a physical vessel that is neglected, disrespected, poisoned, and ignored? To honor your body is not an act of vanity. It is a fundamental spiritual practice. It is the most basic act of stewardship for your most precious asset. Your first step in reclaiming this sacred relationship is to learn to listen to your body, not as a mute machine, but as a wise and articulate oracle. Your body is speaking to you constantly. It is an exquisitely sensitive barometer of truth, an incorruptible financial advisor that tells you in real time the state of your energetic accounts. Its language is not words, but sensation. That knot in your stomach before you make a decision is not a random malfunction. It is clear advice from your intuition. That tension that gathers in your shoulders is not a random pain. It is a balance sheet showing a critical overinvestment in stress and responsibility. The feeling of expansive energy in your chest when you are with a certain person is a stock market tip telling you this is a blue-chip investment. The feeling of being utterly drained after a conversation is a clear signal that you have just been robbed. To become a master banker is to become fluent in this language of sensation. The mind can lie. The ego is a master of deception, but the body does not know how to lie. Its wisdom is primal, honest, and direct. The practice is to drop your awareness out of the noisy chatter of your head and into the feeling world of your body multiple times a day. Check in. What are the sensations present right now? Is there tightness, warmth, hollowness, vibrancy? Do not judge the sensations. Simply listen. They are your most trusted advisors, telling you the absolute truth of your present moment experience. To honor these signals is a profound act of self-love. It is telling your body, I hear you, I trust you. We are partners in this. When you feel tired, honoring the signal means you rest, rather than pushing through with stimulants. When you feel thirsty, you drink water. When you feel tense and stagnant, you stretch and move. When you feel emotionally overwhelmed, you breathe deeply and give the feeling space. Disregarding these signals is like hearing the fire alarm blare in your bank vault and putting on headphones to drown it out. It is a foolish and dangerous denial of reality. By consistently listening to and honoring your body's wisdom, you build a relationship of deep trust and cooperation with your physical self. With this foundation of listening, we can now address the practical maintenance of the vault itself. This maintenance falls into three core areas: nourishment, rest, and movement. First, nourishment. Look at the food you eat, not as a source of pleasure or guilt, but as the literal building materials for your sacred temple. With every meal, you are rebuilding your vault, cell by living cell. The question is not, is this food good or bad according to some diet? The question the inner banker asks is, does this food honor and vitalize the temple? Does it bring energy and life, or does it bring lethargy and inflammation? Learn to listen to your body's deep wisdom about what it truly needs, not just what your mind craves for fleeting comfort. Eat with presence and gratitude, conscious of the fact that you are consuming sunlight, water, and earth, transforming them into the very structure that houses your consciousness. This is a holy act. Second, rest. Our culture has glorified busyness and treated sleep as a necessary evil, an inconvenience to be minimized. This is financial insanity. Rest, and particularly sleep, is not a waste of time. It is the essential period when the bank closes for the night, so the maintenance and security crews can do their most important work. It is during sleep that your body repairs tissue, consolidates memory, flushes out metabolic waste from your brain, and rebalances your hormonal systems. To deprive yourself of adequate rest is to consciously decide to let your most precious physical asset fall into disrepair. It is to leave the vault doors unlocked and the security cameras off. Honoring your need for rest is a non-negotiable aspect of wise stewardship. Third, movement. The ego often frames exercise as a punishment for the body, a chore you must endure to fit into a certain size or shape. This is a perversion of its true purpose. Movement is a joyful celebration of the miracle that is your body. It is an act of gratitude for the gift of having legs that can walk, lungs that can breathe, and a heart that can beat faster with exertion. Movement circulates energy through your system, preventing the stagnation that leads to disease. It keeps the vault's hinges from growing rusty, its mechanisms supple and responsive. Find a way to move that brings you joy. It does not have to be a grueling workout. It can be a walk in nature, a dance in your living room, a gentle stretching session. Listen to your body and let it guide you to the movement it craves. Let your movement be a hymn of praise for the gift of your physical form. When you begin to shift your relationship with your body in this way, when you see it not as a machine to be used, but as a sacred partner to be honored, the deep, painful schism between spirit and matter begins to heal within you. You are no longer a ghost driving a machine. You become an embodied spirit. Your mind, body, and soul cease to be warring factions and begin to operate as a single, unified, harmonious whole. Your body becomes not a source of trouble, but a source of pleasure, wisdom, and grounding strength. You have now audited and balanced your relationships with the past, the future, and with others. By now turning inward and balancing the sacred relationship with your own physical form, you complete the final, crucial piece of the foundation. You are no longer at war with your life, with others, or with the very vessel that carries you. From this place of profound inner and outer peace, of total, embodied alignment, a new state of being can finally arise and stabilize. It is a state that is not dependent on what is in your bank account, but on the inherent wealth of your own integrated being. You are ready to understand and experience the true meaning of prosperity. You are ready to enter the state of abundance. We have walked the inner corridors of your being, auditing the past, trusting the future, balancing the complex portfolio of your relationships, and finally, coming home to the sacred vault of your own body. We have done all the diligent work an inner banker must do to create a solvent, harmonious, and thriving institution. And now we stand at the threshold of the President's office, ready to ask the ultimate question: what is the true purpose of all this inner work? Is the goal of this entire profound journey simply to have a larger pile of gold in our vault? Is it merely to feel a little bit better, a little more peaceful? Or is it something far more radical, a shift in consciousness so total that it changes the very definition of wealth and poverty? The world, and your old, conditioned mind, has taught you that abundance is a number. It is a figure in a bank account, the size of a house, the prestige of a job title. It is something to be acquired, accumulated, and protected. This is the final and most pervasive lie that we must now dismantle, for it is the lock on the door to true freedom. Real abundance is not something you have, it is something you are. It is a state of consciousness available to you in this very moment, regardless of your external circumstances. It is the deep, cellular, unshakable knowing that you are, right now, utterly and completely provided for. It is the cessation of the frantic, lifelong search for something more, and the simple, profound recognition of the fullness of what already is. To understand this, let us consider a parable of two people. Imagine first a person sitting alone in a fortified vault, surrounded by mountains of gold coins, precious jewels, and stacks of stock certificates. By every worldly measure, this person is the pinnacle of wealth and success. But look closer. Observe their inner state. Their mind is a torment of fear. They worry constantly about thieves who might steal their gold. They are terrified of a market crash that could wipe out their fortune. They are suspicious of everyone, believing they only want a piece of their wealth. Every meal is tasteless because they are calculating their net worth. Every night is sleepless with anxiety. Though they sit on a throne of pure gold, they live in the cramped, psychological prison of absolute poverty. Their state of being is lack. Now, imagine another person sitting quietly under a tree. Their worldly possessions consist of the simple clothes they wear and a piece of bread for their next meal. They have no vault, no stock portfolio, no security system. But look closer. Observe their inner state. Their mind is silent and peaceful. They feel the warmth of the sun on their skin with a thrill of profound gratitude. They watch a line of ants march by with a sense of wonder. They taste their simple bread as if it were the most delicious feast, savoring every crumb. They have no anxiety about their next meal, for they hold a deep and unspoken trust in the flow of life. Though they have nothing by the world's standards, they possess the entire universe in that moment. They are infinitely rich. Their state of being is abundance. Who is the wealthier person? The answer is obvious. Wealth and poverty are not conditions of your bank account. They are conditions of your consciousness. The state of scarcity can exist in a palace, and the state of abundance can exist with an empty pocket. True abundance is an inside job. It is the internal realization of your own completeness. What then are the hallmarks of this abundant consciousness? How does it feel to live in this state? The first quality is a radical sense of presence. The abundant mind is not lost in regretting the past or fearing the future. It is anchored firmly in the vibrant, sensory reality of the present moment, finding infinite richness in the simple isness of now. It knows that this moment is the only place life ever happens, and it drinks deeply from its well. The second quality is a constant undercurrent of gratitude, not a forced or occasional gratitude for large windfalls, but a gentle, pervasive appreciation for the ordinary miracles that the scarce mind overlooks. The feeling of breath entering the lungs, the taste of clean water, the existence of color and sound, the simple, miraculous fact of being alive and aware. This gratitude is the natural fragrance of a mind that has made peace with the present moment. The third quality is a deep and unshakable trust in the flow of life. The abundant consciousness does not resist what happens. It has turned its boat downstream. It understands that life is intelligent and fundamentally supportive. It knows that even in challenges, there is a hidden gift, and that it possesses the inner resources to meet whatever arises. This trust is not a blind optimism. It is a profound relaxation into the arms of reality. From these qualities arises the most powerful hallmark of all, a lack of neediness. When you know, in your bones, that you are already whole and complete, you cease to approach the world as a beggar with a bowl. You no longer need a specific outcome to make you happy. You no longer need another person's approval to feel worthy. You no longer need a bigger house or a better job to feel secure. You interact with the world not from a place of trying to get, but from a place of joyfully participating and sharing. This lack of needy, grasping energy is the most magnetic and attractive force in the universe. Life rushes to support the one who is not demanding anything from it. The way to cultivate this state is not to wait for your external world to change. You do not wait to win the lottery to feel abundant. You must embody the feeling of abundance first. This is the great secret. You must begin to live as if you are already the person under the tree, content and whole, even while navigating your current life. You choose to focus on what you have, not what you lack. You choose to trust the flow. You choose to find the richness in this moment, exactly as it is. You are reversing the creative law as the world teaches it. You are not letting your outer world dictate your inner state. You are choosing your inner state with such fidelity that your outer world has no choice but to begin to rearrange itself to match it. When you live from this state of fullness, your cup is not just full, it is overflowing. Your inner bank is so fundamentally solvent, so profitable in peace, joy, and love, that its vaults can no longer contain their wealth. The energy naturally, joyfully, and effortlessly begins to spill out into the world, not as a duty, but as a simple expression of your own inner reality. You do not give in order to get something in return. You have already realized you have everything. You give simply because you can no longer help yourself. This is the birth of true selfless action, born not of obligation, but of celebration. This is the beginning of understanding the joyful philanthropy of the soul, the sacred and natural act of service. You have now arrived at the pinnacle of your inner work, the sunlit highlands of consciousness. You have come home to the state of abundance, the deep, cellular knowing that you are already whole, already complete, already infinitely provided for. You have discovered that true wealth is not an external acquisition, but an internal realization. Your cup is not just full, it is overflowing. The vaults of your inner bank, once guarded by fear and cluttered with debt, are now so filled with the radiant currency of peace, love, and gratitude that their great doors stand wide open, spilling light into the world. This natural, uncalculating, joyful overflow of your own inner being is the beginning of true service. We must immediately differentiate this sacred expression from the ego's counterfeit version of helping. For centuries, you have been taught that service is a moral duty, a burdensome obligation, a chore to be performed in order to be a good person. This form of service, born of the ego, comes from a place of subtle lack. It is a transaction. The ego helps in order to be seen as helpful. It gives in order to receive gratitude or recognition. It seeks to fix others in order to feel superior or powerful. This egoic helping creates a hierarchy of helper and helpless, reinforcing the illusion of separation. It is often draining and can lead to burnout and resentment when the expected payment of appreciation is not received. This is not service, it is a negotiation. True service, the philanthropy of the soul, is an entirely different phenomenon. It does not arise from a sense of duty, but from a wellspring of joy. It does not come from a place of lack, but from a state of absolute fullness. The inner banker, having achieved a state of infinite solvency and understanding their own limitless resources, now graduates to become the inner philanthropist. A great philanthropist does not give their fortune away because they feel guilty about their wealth or because they feel they should. They do so from a creative and joyful impulse to see the world flourish. Their giving is a celebration of their abundance. It is an expression of their own inner richness. True service is the soul's triumphant celebration of its own infinite nature. The sun does not shine because it has a moral obligation to warm the planets. It does not calculate which life forms are worthy of its light. It shines simply because that is its nature. It is a hot, radiant, overflowing star, and its shining is the natural, effortless consequence of what it is. Your service to the world, in its highest form, is exactly this. It is the effortless radiation of the light of your own awakened consciousness. You do not serve to become whole. You serve because you have realized that you already are whole. But what does this service look like? The ego imagines grand, dramatic gestures, starting a foundation, moving to a developing country, sacrificing everything in a blaze of martyrdom. For some, it may take these forms. But for most, your truest service is far more intimate, subtle, and woven into the very fabric of your existing life. The universe does not require you to be a martyr. It simply asks you to be yourself, fully and authentically. The greatest clue to your unique form of service, your Dharma, lies in following your own authentic joy. What makes you feel most alive? What activity, when you are engaged in it, causes you to lose all track of time? In what area do your unique God-given talents and your deep gladness intersect with the needs of the world? Your joy is not a selfish indulgence. It is a divine compass, pointing you directly toward the manner in which your soul is meant to express itself. For one person, their service is to write elegant computer code that makes people's lives easier. For another, it is to grow a beautiful garden that brings a sense of peace to their neighborhood. For another, it is to raise conscious, loving children who will carry that light into the next generation. For another still, it is simply to be a calm, non-anxious presence in a chaotic corporate office. Do not devalue the service that seems small or ordinary. A single, silent candle can illuminate an entire dark room. Indeed, perhaps the most profound and needed service you can offer to this anxious, frantic world is the service of your own peaceful presence. To be the one person in a meeting who is not adding to the collective anxiety. To be the one in a family argument who does not take the bait of anger. To listen to another human being with your full, undivided, non-judgmental attention, offering them the sacred space of your presence in which they can hear their own wisdom. This is a service of the highest order. In a world starving for connection and presence, to offer it freely is to offer a feast. Your greatest service, therefore, may not be in what you do, but in the quality of your being. As you continue to cultivate the inner state of the banker calm, present, aware, and abundant, you naturally emanate this frequency to everyone you encounter. You become a walking, talking transmission of peace. This is not a passive act. It is a powerful, active contribution to the healing of the world. This understanding brings us to the core methodology of enlightened action, a principle known in the East as Karma Yoga, or the yoga of selfless action. The first principle is this: find your joy in the action itself, not in the fruits of the action. The true philanthropist finds deep satisfaction in the act of designing the project and signing the check, not in having their name put on the building. When you perform your service, whatever it may be, perform it with your full heart and for the sheer love of the doing. If you are a teacher, find your joy in the moment of connection with a student, not in their final test scores. If you are an artist, find your joy in the stroke of the brush, not in the potential sale of the painting. If you attach your inner peace to the outcome of your actions, whether people praise you, whether your efforts succeed or fail, you have once again become an egoic negotiator, and you have set yourself up for suffering. The wise philanthropist knows that the joy is in the giving. The act itself is its own reward. The second principle is to understand that when you serve another, you are truly serving the one self that animates all of life. The illusion of separation is that I, the helper, am serving you, the helped. The deeper truth is that the one consciousness is simply moving through one form to assist itself in another form. When you offer a glass of water to a thirsty person, you are, in reality, the universe offering a glass of water to itself. The giver, the gift, and the receiver are all expressions of one unified field of consciousness. Seeing this dissolves all hierarchy, all pride, and all sense of obligation. Service becomes a beautiful, intimate dance the universe performs with itself. You are simply blessed to be a conscious participant in that dance. This leads to the third principle, which is to release the need to fix anyone or anything. The ego loves the role of the fixer. It sees a broken world and believes it is its job to repair it. This creates a heavy burden and a subtle violence. Your job is not to fix the world. Your job is to love the world. Your role as a philanthropist of the soul is not to be a cosmic repairman, but to be a channel for unconditional love and light. You offer your unique gifts freely, without attachment to how they are received or what is done with them. You plant the seed, you water it with your love, and then you surrender the outcome to the infinite intelligence of life. You trust that your small, loving act will be used for the highest good in ways you may never even see. What, then, is the return on this investment of selfless service? The paradox is that, in the act of giving with no thought of return, the greatest possible dividend is received. It is not money, not fame, not even gratitude. The return is the progressive and final dissolution of the sense of a separate, needy self. With every act of selfless giving, the walls of the ego become more transparent. With every moment you act from a place of fullness rather than lack, the illusion that you are a small, isolated entity begins to crumble. You begin to experience yourself not as a wave, but as the entire ocean. As you operate from this place of joyful overflow, as you serve the world simply by being your most authentic and radiant self, something remarkable happens. The very distinction we have so carefully built throughout this journey, the distinction between you, the banker, and the wealth you manage, begins to blur and dissolve. You realize that the peace you give to others is the very peace that you are. The love you share is the very substance of your own being. The creativity that flows through you is not yours, but the creative impulse of the universe itself. This dawning realization leads us to the final door within the great inner bank, the one at the very end of the hall, marked Office of the President. It is the last threshold we must cross. The entire journey auditing our debts, cultivating acceptance, accessing our creativity, and learning to serve has all been a journey not to become wealthy, but to realize the fundamental nature of the wealth itself. It is time to let go of the last, most subtle identity. It is time to stop being the manager of the bank and to realize the final, breathtaking, and liberating truth. You are not in the bank. You are the bank. Through the joyful, selfless overflow of service, the distinction between the giver and the receiver, the self and the other, has begun to dissolve. You have tasted the bliss of acting from a place of fullness, where your giving is not a transaction but a simple, radiant expression of your own inner state of abundance. The persona we have so carefully cultivated throughout this journey, the diligent, wise, and powerful inner banker, has served you well. It has been a necessary scaffold, a story we use to bring order to the chaos of the egoic mind, to clear away the debts of the past, and to establish a new, solvent way of being. But all scaffolds are temporary. They are meant to be dismantled once the true building is revealed. The identity of the inner banker has now brought you to the threshold of its own dissolution. It has led you to the final door at the very heart of the vault, the one marked not with a title, but with a silent, profound truth. For this entire journey, we have been asking how the banker should act. Now, we must turn our awareness back upon itself and ask the final, ultimate question: who is this banker? Who is this silent observer who witnessed the thoughts? Who is this philanthropist who serves from a full heart? Who is the eye that has been managing this inner world all along? It is time to turn the lamp of awareness around and illuminate the one who has been holding the lamp. Let us walk through the great halls of your inner bank one last time, not as a manager, but as a witness to a great unveiling. Look again at the so-called currency of your life. You once believed your attention was a collection of golden coins that you had, a resource to be spent. Now, see the deeper truth. You are not the one who has attention. You are the attention itself. You are the light of consciousness, and where you place yourself, worlds come into being. The light and the source of the light are one. Look again at the emotional debts and assets. You believed they were entries on your permanent record, stains or trophies that defined your worth. Now, see the truth. They were simply clouds of contracted or expanded energy passing through the vast, impersonal sky of your own being. You were never the debt. You were never the asset. You were, and are, the silent, spacious sky that allows all weather to happen, forever unstained, untouched, and utterly free. Look again at the treasury of silence. You thought it was a sacred place you had to travel to, a deep vault you had to retreat into to escape the noise. Now, see the final truth. You are the silence. The silence is not in you. You and the entire universe are happening within the silence. It is your fundamental nature, the canvas upon which the temporary painting of your life appears. You have never, for one moment, left it. And the vault itself, the precious temple of your body, you thought it was a vessel you inhabited, a machine you had to maintain. Now, feel the deeper reality. The consciousness that is aware of the body and the sensations of the body are arising together in one unified, inseparable field of knowing. You are not a ghost in a machine. You are the totality of the embodied experience, a seamless miracle of spirit and matter, interwoven and indivisible. The inner banker, having audited and managed all these aspects of the enterprise, now feels a quiet pull toward the final door, the one marked office of the president, to finally meet the ultimate owner of this entire establishment. They walk the silent halls, their work complete. They reach the door and turn the handle. It opens without a sound. The room inside is empty. It is vast, silent, and filled with a soft, gentle light. There is no furniture, no desk, no throne. There is only, on the far wall, a single, large, ornate, and perfectly clear mirror. The banker, with a sense of profound curiosity, walks toward it. They look into the mirror, expecting to see a separate, powerful entity, the ultimate source of all the wealth and wisdom. And in the mirror, they see their own face. But it is not just the face of the banker persona. It is the face of everything. It is the face of the sky, the face of the river, the face of the person they served, the face of the person who hurt them. In that silent, holy instant of recognition, the final separation dissolves. The banker understands. You are not the manager of the bank. You are the bank. You are not the seeker of the wealth. You are the wealth. You are not the observer of consciousness. You are the consciousness. The entire structure, the entire story of a separate you who needed to get, to achieve, to heal, to become, was an illusion. A beautiful, necessary, and helpful illusion, but an illusion nonetheless. The search is over because the seeker and the sought have been discovered to be one and the same. There is no longer an inner banker managing a separate inner world. There is only the seamless, unified, and divine unfolding of life, expressing itself as you. Feel the profound relaxation that comes with this realization. The lifelong, exhausting project of improving yourself is over. The need to become more spiritual, more peaceful, more abundant simply dissolves. You can finally lay down the heavy burden of becoming and rest in the infinite peace of simply being. You are already that which you were seeking. You have always been it, and you will always be it. The journey was not about arriving at a destination, but about shedding the illusions that prevented you from seeing that you were already home. How then do you live from this realization? The answer is, you don't have to do anything. You cease to operate as a separate entity, trying to get things from or do things to the universe. You begin to operate as the universe, joyfully expressing itself through your unique form for a short while. Your actions are no longer driven by the frantic calculations of fear and desire, but by the calm, intelligent, and loving impulse of life itself, flowing through you. You do not need to worry about making the right choice, because the one who is choosing and the intelligence that guides all things are no longer separate. The inner banker has completed their work. The great ledger is balanced, the debts have been cleared, the philanthropy is established, and in the final, ultimate act of mastery, the banker willingly, peacefully, and joyfully dissolves back into the source from which they came, leaving only the radiant, silent, and infinitely abundant presence of what you truly are. There are no more lessons to learn, no more strategies to implement. All that is left is to rest in this realization, to allow it to permeate every cell of your being. Let us now close the great ledger of this journey and simply be with the silent, resonant, and liberating truth that remains. And so, the great audit is complete. The ledgers are closed, not because the accounts are settled, but because the accountant has realized there was never any debt. The vault door stands wide open, not to be guarded against thieves, but to let the silent golden light of what you are pour out into the world. The journey of the inner banker is finished, and in its completion, you find you have not arrived at a new destination, but have simply woken up to where you have always been. The path we have walked together was a necessary one. We needed the language of assets and liabilities, of investments and dividends, to bring order to a mind that believed itself to be in a state of chaos and lack. We needed the powerful identity of the banker to reclaim our authority from the fearful identity of the ego. But now, standing here in the quiet light of your own presence, you can let the scaffolding fall away. Forget the lessons, forget the strategies. They were fingers pointing to the moon. They were not the moon itself. If you are to take one thing from this journey, let it be not a concept in the mind, but a quiet, resonant feeling in the heart. Let this be the truth that remains when all the words have faded. Carry it with you, not as a thought to be repeated, but as a state to be embodied. I am not the seeker of wealth. I am the source from which all wealth flows. The vault is open. The currency is infinite. I am the banker. I am the bank. Let these words dissolve now, leaving only their silent echo. Feel the truth of them in the simple, miraculous rhythm of your own breath. Feel the stillness that holds you. Feel the life that animates you. This is your true wealth. This is the only asset that can never be lost. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to become, nothing more to seek. The most profound work is now the work of rest, to simply be what you have discovered yourself to be. Rest in the silent, abundant truth of what you are. Be still and know